It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandell.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau Agent, located downtown Midland. Well, all the bad Tigers injury news we've gotten over the last couple weeks, there is some positive injury news to look at. Matt Vierling and Reese Olson both starting rehab assignments in AAA this week. And it's got me thinking, Matt Vierling, who's been a main piece of this Tigers team the last 2 years, mainly as an outfielder, but last year exploring a good amount of time at third base. What is his role once he comes back to the major leagues if he stays healthy? Obviously, earlier this year, he was up for about a week and didn't really get a ton of run before re-aggravating his shoulder, and that's why he's had to go through this long process of getting back to the majors. But if he is back 100% healthy, it's a different Tigers team now than when he came back originally. Wenzel Perez has returned and has been honestly spectacular as a bat on both sides of the plate, playing right field. And since Matt Vierling got injured a second time, Colt Keith has now been suggested to move to third base more of the time. So is Matt Vierling, who has been a starter on this team for 2 years in a row, basically every day, suddenly become a platoon bench guy, a utility bat? Zach McKinstry is the utility guy of this team, but you want him in the lineup every day with the way he's been hitting. As excited I am for Matty V to come back, I'm not really sure how much we're going to be seeing him in action with this Tigers team at full health. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau Agent, located downtown Midland.
At Tommy's Express, you can get your car clean, shiny and dry in just minutes. Our state-of-the-art eco-friendly wash delivers a spotless finish every time. With the Tommy Club app, enjoy unlimited washes or paper wash. Skip the line with license plate recognition and manage everything right from your phone. Fast, clean, and simple. Visit Tommy's Express today and see the difference. Text CLEAN CAR to 86697 for a free works wash.
Offer valid for new guests only. By participating, you consent to receive promotional information text from Tommy's Express. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies.
Looking for an unforgettable baseball experience? Look no further than The Dock with the Great Lakes Loons. Our exclusive 4-person premium soft seats are located directly behind home plate. It puts you in the middle of all the action. Plus, wait staff service is included, and you can purchase drink packages to enhance your game day experience. Call 989-837-BALL for information or visit the tickets tab at loons.com.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt for the most passionate fans in Michigan. From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. Appointment radio across the state.
Remember that.
Hello, and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show. Happy Tuesday to the Great Lakes Bay region. Happy Tuesday to everyone tuning in on YouTube and Facebook, wherever you're listening from. It is a fantastic Tuesday here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Dude, it's so nice out. Gorgeous. One of the best times of the year if you live in the state of Michigan. I can't wait. We've got a pumped up show planned out for you guys. Look, we've got our Tuesday Tower a little bit later on. We've got an exciting Around the League to get to. I want to have a couple different conversations about the NFC North. Talking about the Packers. Talking about the Bears. The Vikings. Who poses the biggest threat? How do the quarterbacks stack up against each other? We're going to get to a lot of different stuff regarding the Lions division, which is pretty clearly to me the best division going into the season in terms of the NFL. Before we get to any of that, couple things to go over. First of all, the lock of the day from yesterday, Ohtani Did not come through. With that being said, had 3 swing and miss pitches, should have at least had 1 strikeout. But Manny Machado tries to check swing, definitely went through. And they said he did not. That made me angry last night. That's okay.
You needed to anyways.
I know I needed to, but if he got the first one, which definitely should have been a strikeout, you never know what ends up happening. But he doesn't get any, so we're a little bit cold on the lock of the day. That's all right. We're bouncing back. I feel good about what's coming up later today. That is how we will end the show, of course. But I want to start by asking the people a question today. The Detroit Tigers right now, obviously, it goes without saying, first place in the AL Central, first place in the American League. There are 24 games left from now, starting tonight against Pittsburgh, until the All-Star break. There's a few different guys that are in slumps right now. And if you had the power to just heat one guy up, if you had the power to light one of these Detroit Tigers on fire, who are you heating up? You've got the chance to heat up one guy for the next 24 games on the Tigers. To me, the answer is Spencer Torkelson. You can go through all the different people. Hey, Kerry's in a little bit of a slump. Hey, you need some bullpen help. The bullpen's been rocky. Vest isn't going to be here. You need someone to step up in place of Vest. But to have someone like Spencer Torkelson really heat up here for the next 24 games, I think changes a lot for this Tigers team. Because if you have a guy who's smashing in the middle of the lineup, both left and right-handed pitching for that matter, it can hide a lot of your other issues. I go back to August of 2023, the month that Torkelson really grabbed us and pulled on our heartstrings a little bit and said, watch this, which would ultimately lead to disappointment in 2024. But that month, August 2023, that was the best month Spencer Torkelson has had in his career. 9 home runs, an 892 OPS, 5 doubles over the course of those 30 days. If he could replicate that again for the next 24 days, it's a home run every 3 games, essentially. You'd have 8 from now until the All-Star break, and again, that's 24 games. That right there would get you at 24 for the season and would put you on pace for 40 by the end of the year. In the last 30 days, the Tigers have struggled to generate power, and a lot of that has to do with Kerry Carpenter being in a slump. Riley Green as well. But the Tigers have had 28 home runs in the last 30 days. That ranks 21st in Major League Baseball. The reason I would pick Torkelson ahead of a guy like Carpenter is Torkelson, when he's at his best, is mashing both lefties and righties. Against left-handed pitching this season, he's got an OPS over 1,000. Against right-handed pitching, still has an above-average league OPS of 757. Whereas a lot of people would say, hey, let's get Kerry out of this slump. I would say, well, even at Kerry Carpenter's best, Kerry Carpenter is not very effective against the left-handed pitching. He's never had a season in his career where he's had an OPS that even sniffed 700. 750 is league average. So if I could pick one guy on the Tigers to heat up here for the next 24 games, I'm picking Spencer Torkelson. He's not the guy that needs the boost the most, but if I could give a guy a lighter, give him some lighter fluid, and he can just get his bat to be scorching hot here for the next month, I think it's Spencer Torkelson, because that fixes a lot of issues if you have someone like that just raking in the middle of the lineup, whether it's 3rd, 4th, 5th, wherever he is on any given day. My answer is Spencer Torkelson for who I'd light up for the next 24 games, Kyle.
I like this pick because Torkelson has been the clear top power hitter for the Tigers this season. I know that Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green are right there with him home runs wise, but Torkelson has done it more consistently all season long, whereas it seems like Carpenter just heats up and has a big week, or Riley Green kind of does the same thing. To your point, though, about Torkelson v. Carpenter as far as value, because Torkelson will face righties and lefties, to my surprise even, Kerry Carpenter only has 10 less at-bats on the year than Torkelson.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a bit of a shock. Now, I know that has a little bit to play with when Glaber, Tork, and Keith were kind of rotating, and one of Colt or Torkelson were getting more days off than typical. I like the pick of Torkelson. I'm going with a sneaky pick, though. And I think Carpenter for sure would be a good choice if that's who you picked, because he has the potential to be the best left-handed at-bat on this team. I mean, he has been the last several years, and he's been slumping the most, I would say, out of any Tigers bat. Is that fair?
Yeah, I've got some pretty nasty Kerry Carpenter stats coming up. So, yeah, but
right.
It sounds like
so
you want to put a pin on that.
But, and you talked about the bullpen. I think it's a boring pick. I do think a guy like Tyler Holton would be a good pick, honestly. If he could just be what he was the last 2 years, that would really help out this Tigers team. I'm actually going to go with Parker Meadows, though. Think about the conversation we had a month ago when he was returning. And we talked about how dangerous this Tigers lineup could be if Parker Meadows is returning at the top of this lineup. We know what he brings defensively. And not saying that he's been bad. We saw him hit the home run as soon as we had the conversation before the conversation. But obviously we know what the true potential is of Parker Meadows. We saw it in the second half of last season. So if he can return to that in this stretch before the All-Star break and get back to the top of the lineup, it juices things up for the rest of the... I mean, you get him on the base pads. Like, it makes things so much easier for Gleyber Torres and Torkelson and Kerry, Riley, all of them. So I would go with Parker Meadows.
In an ideal world, if Torkelson heats up, it's the home runs. Even his best month last year, or 2 years ago in August, his average was about 230. He's never going to be a hit for average guy. You just expected doubles and the home runs to be there. So in an ideal world, Torkelson heats up for 24 games. It's 8 home runs. It's forget the batting average. It's an 850, 900 OPS, that kind of stuff. For Parker Meadows, I think it's a little bit higher of an average. If you can get an 800 OPS out of him, I think that'd be awesome. It was about 840 for the second half of last year after he got called up, 296 batting average. He's doing a little bit of everything. He's not overwhelming you with the power. He's not hitting ridiculous for contact, but he's doing a little bit of both. He's, to your point, stealing bases, right? He's walking. That's something that he's struggled just a little bit with here in 2025
and was
since
really
he's
good
made
with
his
it
return.
last year.
Yeah, had a great eye. He's the kind of guy that we used to joke around, a 4.5 tool player. He has everything. He's just not elite necessarily at one thing yet. I like the Parker Meadows pick because they do need another left-handed at-bat to help against the right-handed hitting. But to me, it's still Torkelson for all the reasons I laid out. Not that Parker Meadows is a wrong answer, but to have someone with that constant power who's a threat every single time he's in the plate or at the plate to go yard, that to me is a little bit more valuable than a guy who does kind of come in and do a little bit of everything. Both good answers. There's other ways you could go with this too, right? Casey Mize is someone who comes to mind who's also been in a little bit of a slump. First 8 games of the season, 6-1 record, 2.45 ERA, a .71 whip, 41 Ks, 10 walks. Last 3 outings has not been as sharp. 0-1, 4.73 ERA, so nearly 2 points higher. Only 14 Ks to 8 walks. So walks are up, strikeouts are down. It's just not getting guys out as frequently as he was in the first 8 games of the season. And with Jackson Jobe out for the year, that would be another guy that I think would be a fine candidate and someone to choose for this. If you could heat one person up for the rest of, until the All-Star break. Choosing Casey Mize, who's on the mound today, that would be essential too. Again, do you want to do that because it's only once every 5 games versus someone who's in the lineup every single day? Probably not, but to have a third starter be consistently that good, like he was for the first 8 games of the season, that I also think would not be a bad answer whatsoever, because there's a lot of different ways you could go with this.
Right. Well, especially with a team that is still looking to answer the question of who is the second best starter on this team.
Yeah.
You would think it's Jack Flaherty, and it probably is.
It's fluctuated throughout the year.
He had a tough start in his last outing, but he had a good, consistent stretch of good starts. But to your point, with the Jackson Jobe injury, with Reese Olson still not back yet, it would be nice to get that consistency from the starting rotation because we saw how it went at the end of last season. The Torkelson pick is good too, just because he's also been in a semi-slump. His last 2.5 weeks, he's under a 670 OPS, under a 200 batting average, 16 Ks to 6 walks. It's been kind of rough for Torkelson these last few weeks as well. And I do respect the right-handed bat thing with Torkelson because it does make sense to have that consistent in the middle of the lineup. It basically unlocks the rest of this lineup, right? Mm-hmm. As far as what makes the Tigers most dangerous going into the All-Star break for who you would light up the most, I like the Torkelson pick.
Because it's not like Torkelson's only hitting against one side of the ball. It's not like he's only hitting against the lefties. Whereas Kerry Carpenter, even at his best, is a below-average hitter against left-handed pitching. There's an extreme split
really
there.
below average.
Really below average at his best. Torkelson's still an above-average league hitter, even against the righty. So, yes, there's a split there, but it's not as concerning as some of these other guys. So if you're going to pick one guy to heat up, pick the guy who can hit against both right-handed and left-handed pitching would be my argument for that. 989-837-6125. You've got one choice. You've got lighter fluid. You've got a match. Who are you handing it to on the Detroit Tigers for the next 24 games up until the All-Star break? You get one guy to just become scorching hot for the next almost month. Who are you choosing? 989-837-6125. We've got that. You guys can text in the Mitt messages. We've got our YouTube chat going as well. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. What are we sitting at? 127. Goal was 150 by the end of the week, so we'd appreciate it if you could get there and give us a subscription if you have not already. Still got a lot of fun stuff. We'll go through some more candidates here coming up. We've got our Tuesday Tower. We've got the Mitt Morning catch-in. We're going to go over some NBA Finals too, because I think last night might have sealed the deal for this Oklahoma City Thunder team that to me is just so impressive to watch if you are a true basketball savant, because this defense is next level, to be honest. We mentioned Kerry Carpenter, though, Kyle. I've got a Kerry Carpenter stat. I do not think you're going to like it. I want you to tell me whether or not you think this is concerning. That's coming up next here on the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Midland Eye Care wants you to know the pervasive use of technology can lead to digital eye strain, burning or tired eyes, headaches, fatigue, loss of focus, blurred or double vision. Overexposure light from electronic devices may also increase the likelihood of developing serious eye conditions such as age-related macular degeneration. To give your eyes a rest, remember 20-20-20. Every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break and look at something 20 feet away. This message brought to you by Midland Eye Care, your vision source on Eastman Road in Midland, on Cedar and Gladwin, and now on East Washington in Freeland.
Bucks Run Golf Club is an award-winning 18-hole championship golf course. The Quarry Grill offers a casual, fine dining restaurant with a patio overlooking the course and scenic Lake Fisher. Bucks Run's centralized location makes it a convenient day trip from anywhere in Michigan. Explore the custom play and stay golf packages featuring 11 course options and 9 lodging options, which now include the cottages at Bucks Run. Just 20 minutes from Dow Diamond off M20 in Mount Pleasant. Bucks Run, a proud member of the Fisher Companies. Learn more at bucksrun.com.
When the summer heat is on, keep your cool with Answer Heating and Cooling. Our expert team specializes in fast, reliable air conditioning repairs, installations, and maintenance. Stay comfortable all season long with top-notch cooling solutions and simply outstanding service. Plus, with financing options and special rebates, cooling your home has never been more affordable. Answer Heating and Cooling, where comfort is our priority. Try our new schedule online option or call us today.
Some nights are just different. The energy and feeling of being part of something bigger. That's what a Great Lakes Loons group outing is all about.
Whether it's your company, your family, or your best friends, the perfect space is waiting for you at Dow Diamond.
Relax in a private group venue with catering and wait service, or take in the action from a spacious pavilion where an all-you-can-eat buffet and amazing views bring everyone together.
With group packages starting at just $15 per person, it's more than just a game. It's an affordable shared experience at night out.
The best memories start here with your hometown team. Just visit loons.com.
You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got it. On Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Michigan needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Good morning, everyone. If you missed the open, we were talking about which Tiger we would heat up for the rest of until the All-Star break, basically. Which Tiger would you give superpowers to? Would you give a match, give lighter fluid, and say, here, light yourself on fire for the next 24 games? I said Spencer Torkelson. Kyle, on the other hand, said Parker Meadows. Two good candidates, but we'll see what you guys have to say. 989-837-6125. Jeremiah says, I agree with Kyle. Parker Meadows, he could go on a run and be our everyday leadoff hitter. That would be a huge boost to the lineup. Yeah, the Tigers have, I don't want to say they've struggled in that leadoff spot because Kerry Carpenter was so successful there for the first chunk of the season before Parker Meadows came back. And Jahmai Jones has had some success there as well. But to have someone who's consistently getting on base, and if Parker Meadows could get that on base percentage up to around 400, like it was the second half of last season, that would be a huge boost for the lineup, especially considering the way Gleyber Torres has been playing this year. And then you get into the heart of the lineup in Green, Carpenter, and Torkelson. Pick whoever you want, depending on the night, can hit all these guys home. Like that is when the lineup gets real scary, when Parker Meadows is finally hitting a rhythm here.
Yeah, that's why I chose him, because it almost like does light up Torkelson, right? Or it lights up one of him or Green or Carpenter. Just if Meadows is that guy that's consistently getting on base, because Torres is going to be consistent. So I think Meadows unlocks the lineup the most, whereas you picking Torkelson unlocks a specific, situation the most, a right-handed power bat, which is still a good choice.
A few more texts that say Parker Meadows, so congrats, Kyle. You've got the people's vote. A couple that say Spencer Torkelson. One that says Jake Rogers. Interesting choice. I guess that would be a boost to the lineup.
Really interesting choice. Maybe they're talking about him pitching, as we got to see him the other night.
Hey, can you throw out of the bullpen? Might need some help there. 989-837-6125. You guys can text in throughout the show. We'll get to more of those a little bit later on. I have a stat for you, Kyle, though. I don't think you're going to love this, and I want to know whether or not you think this is concerning or not. And I struggle because I go back and forth on this stat here. Kerry Carpenter with runners in scoring position this season, 106 average, 348 OPS. 348 on base percentage, sorry. 17 Ks, 2 walks. And actually, that number was so off that I had to double check, and then I convinced myself it was wrong. No, that's correct. A 348 OPS when runners are in scoring position. That's real bad. And if there wasn't some evidence here in the postseason, like if he didn't have the pedigree that he did in the postseason, I would say this is extremely concerning. But because of what he did last year against Emmanuel Clase in the postseason, who was having maybe the best closer reliever season since Rivera, I don't think that's too much of a stretch. Since that is the case, I'm going to say it's not as concerning, but still a little concerning nonetheless that he hasn't come through in these big situations. He's supposed to be the guy that, you put in the lineup against the right-handed pitcher and just completely mashes. And he's had success against it this year, but the numbers aren't popping off the page like they were last year when he was up there with Ohtani and Judge against right-handed pitching. He was truly one of the best guys in the league last year. That hasn't really been the case this year. He's still been an above-average hitter against the right-handed pitching, but the numbers are a bit down, and those numbers against when runners are in scoring position is what I'm trying to say. Not great, Kyle. Not great.
Kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because he is we asked that question, bottom of the ninth inning, who do you want at the bat? And a lot of people picked Kerry Carpenter. Those numbers suggest that's a terrible choice, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. There's a lot of concerning Kerry Carpenter numbers. He's got the 13 homers on the year. 6 of them have come against the White Sox.
Yikes.
He really has been outside of the White Sox games okay this season. His last 25 games, this is a large sample size. 195 batting average with the 614 OPS. And the 2 walks, I think, is the most concerning part, right?
Yeah,
that matches 23 strikeouts. That is pretty horrendous.
Against the left-handed pitching this year, 578 OPS. Against right-handed pitching this year, 798. So still above league average. 750 is about league average for OPS. but not even to have an 800 batting average against the righties, where that's kind of where you're supposed to be thriving, whereas last year you were a 994 OPS against the right hand. Like, that's a pretty concerning, I don't want to say concerning, but that's a pretty substantial difference for what the expectation is in Kerry Carpenter versus what the reality has been for him this season. And again, he has the postseason pedigree to where it's like, I'm not going to sit here and bash him and say he's not clutch, because he had some of the clutchest Tigers hits of the last decade last year in the series against Cleveland. And to be honest, kind of still having effects on Emmanuel Clase, like not having the season.
Never recovered from that.
Like, yeah, and we said that right at the time. Like, dude, I think he might have broken Emmanuel Clase. And that's kind of been what's happened this season. People are hitting nearly 300 against him after one of the best seasons of all time out of the pen last year for Emmanuel Clase, a guy who was like in Cy Young contention at the end of the day. That hasn't been the case this year at all. So for that reason, I can't sit here and say like panic button, but it's not great. And you'd like to see Kerry Carpenter come alive here over the next 24 games until that All-Star break. Again, I chose Torkelson. I don't think Kerry Carpenter's a wrong answer for that, because he needs to see those numbers increase a little bit just on paper. But the reason I didn't pick him is because even at his best, he's not going to smash against the left-handed pitching, which has always been kind of the knock on Kerry Carpenter. And the reason he's not in the lineup every day, even though, what'd you say, 10 less at-bats than
10
Spencer
less at-bats than
Torkelson?
Torque, yeah.
A lot of that probably has to do with...
than you think.
Well, a lot of that probably has to do with the walks that Spencer Torkelson generates compared to the lack of walks that Kerry Carpenter's been generating as of late.
But this would be the reason why you would pick Carpenter to be the guy to light up for the All-Star break, because he's obviously in the biggest slump. Like, those numbers that I just put out for the last 25 games, that includes the 3-homer game. Mm-hmm. Like, those are bad numbers with that historic game. So that would be why you choose Kerry Carpenter, just because he has been in the biggest slump.
Neither of us went with a guy out of the pen, which is arguably the most important position right now, that's especially with no Vest. And again, we still don't have an update on Vest.
But who do you choose?
I don't know.
You could just pay anybody, you know? Like, there isn't a specific guy that you...
Honestly, it would have been Brisky, but now he's not even on the team.
He's gone, yeah.
Yeah, that's who it would have been, though, because he's at least got some swing and miss, and we've seen it over the past year, but he's just taken a huge step back, as most of the guys in the bullpen from last year.
Just because we saw how good he was the last 2 years as the Swiss Army knife, but Brant Herter has just kind of taken that spot. So
maybe it's Brant Herter.
Neither of them are high leverage guys, though.
No.
They need a high leverage late game guy.
You could say Canely, just make him basically invincible here for the next 24 games, because you're going to need him a lot more.
That seems like a waste of a pick.
I agree with you.
He's already good.
Yeah. They're going to need to add an arm at the bullpen, and I think we've spent enough time on the trade deadline here over the past 2 weeks that our audience knows that very well. 989-837-6125. Let's hit the Mitt Morning Catch.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
All right, we got a good amount of news to dive into today. Starting things off, Tigers-Pirates tonight, starting a 3-game series in Comerica Park. You mentioned it earlier, Ben. Casey Mize on the bump, going up against Bailey Falter, a 6:40 first pitch.
Yep, need a bounce-back game and outing from Casey Mize. The last 3 have been pretty tough, so... I mean, it's a Pirates offense that has really struggled here. They're top 10 in strikeouts per game. So this is an opportunity for Casey to start generating a little bit more swing and miss. Although, even in the games that he has struggled here in the past 3 outings, he's still generating that swing and miss. He's just giving up a lot more hits as of late. So we'll see what happens here.
He's getting in jams early, too, so his outings haven't been as long.
Like, today might be a good day to bet a Yerfie. If you're a Nerfy guy, I don't know if I'd be doing that.
Wouldn't it be like if he's bouncing back, then the Nerfy is here?
I'm staying away from Casey Mize props today. I don't know what I'm getting right now, because the over-under on strikeouts like 5. So it's but if he gets lit up early or just struggles to stay out there, he might not stay out there long enough. I don't know. Yeah. I'm real curious to see what version of Casey Mize we get today.
Let's get through all this Tigers news. They are ranked number 1 in the recent MLB Power Ranking coming out yesterday for a 3rd straight week.
I was surprised by that. After the Red Sox or the Reds lit them up there over the weekend. One of my big takes from watching that game throughout the weekend was like, geez, man, like the Tigers really lack that superstar. Because Ellie De La Cruz was horrifying. Everywhere, like, no matter what, he's just making plays. Offense, defense, home runs, stealing
Riley
bases.
Green over Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, come on, man. Wait, seriously?
I don't know, man. Dude led the league in strikeouts last year. I don't want that guy in my lineup.
I guess. Isn't Riley Green on pace to lead the league in strikeouts right now?
That's a really good point, yeah. All right, let's move on. Speaking of Tigers' good players, we got an all-star voting check-in for the first time. Riley Green, the second leader in votes for the American League outfield. Gleyber Torres in first. And then some other guys, Dylan Dingler, the third catcher. McKinstry, the fourth third baseman. Torkelson, the fourth first baseman. And Javi Baez, fifth in outfield voting, man. He might sneak in.
I don't think so. He's not going to play outfield again. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I would... He's a guy that
but
you can vote for.
only vote him as an outfielder.
Yeah, it's not like you'd vote him as a shortstop or anything. I don't think Javi Baez is going to miss it. That was lightning in a bottle. Or make the All-Star team. That was lightning in a bottle
But
there
people
for a
love
little bit.
The fan vote, he will get the fan vote. Yes.
It feels like Gleyber has this thing locked up, though. There's not a lot of awesome second basemen right now in the American League.
Try telling you, man. He's the biggest lock. Only guy in first.
Now that Altuve's not, a real superstar at this point in his career, there's not really a true, like, all-star second baseman who's consistently getting votes now in the AL.
It's Gleyber. All right, last Tigers news. They claimed right-handed relief pitcher Carlos Hernandez off the Phillies waivers yesterday. No corresponding move yet. You would assume that this is a Will Vest being moved to the injured list, potentially, or one of Brebbia or Tyler Owens, who are currently on the Major League roster, getting sent down or waived.
I don't know, man. This is my biggest gripe with baseball. They keep the injury so secretive. Like, why can't every sport be like football, to where you just constantly get updates?
Where you get 10 Twitter notifications after a guy
tweaks his ankle in a practice on a Tuesday. Like,
right.
They keep. Why do we not have a Will Vest update? This dude left the game after throwing a wild pitch, complained about his pinky. That was like 3 days ago at this point. We have no update.
Yeah. But Fernandez, the guy they picked up, waived by the Phillies, a 5.26 ERA in 25 innings pitched this season. I'm never going to complain about a guy that they pick up because you just never know what Chris Fetter's going to do.
Yeah, especially, yeah. For an arm, they can fix anybody.
All right, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Ben. Arkansas's Gage Wood, a 19 strikeout no-hitter thrown in the College World Series. First College World Series no-hitter since... ?
No idea.
1960.
Do you have the name?
No. 19K no-hitter.
How many teams are left in the College World Series?
They're in the quarterfinals, but they just knocked out Murray State, so...
Who's the favorite? Arkansas?
Probably. They were the highest ranked team, so...
Okay.
I would assume it's them. All right, a couple more things here, and we'll wrap things up. Save the rest for later. Michigan, they've added a quarterback to their team for this year. Transfer QB from East Carolina, Jake Garcia. Spent 2 years at Miami, Florida. Went to Missouri, didn't play. Went to East Carolina last year, started the first 6 games, then got benched by former Michigan State quarterback Caden Hauser.
So, I saw this news last night, and my first reaction is no longer like, hey, like, how many yards is this guy throwing? Give me this guy's I just want to know how many games they've played, how many snaps they've done, and how old they are. Because in today's college football, the quarterback can vary from like 18, like we saw in Aiden Childs last year, to like 26 years old. So anyone who gets mad at their like freshman quarterback, I just think like you truly have to let these guys grow and develop now, because this is where players are doing it, not their rookie seasons in the NFL anymore. And I swear to God, Kyle, this guy's age is a secret that Google doesn't even know. I spent like...
Really?
It's not that long.
No way.
I spent like 15 minutes trying to figure out how old this guy was, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Not even on like ESPN, like on his bio? It doesn't have his birth date?
Isn't that crazy?
That's really weird.
If anyone can find out this guy's age, and someone's going to figure it out in like 10 seconds and put it in the YouTube chat, hopefully, and I'm going to look like an idiot. I could not figure this out for the life of me yesterday, how old this guy was. It was strange.
Very random. I mean, he's a fifth-year guy, so he's got to be older. All right, we'll save the NBA stuff for later. We'll wrap things up. Your boy, Ohtani, went 1 inning, did not get the 2 Ks. Actually got 0. Gave up 1 run.
Yeah.
28 pitch first inning.
Hit 100 miles per hour, though.
Right. Great start to lock it of the day.
Thanks, man. All right. We've got our Tuesday Tower coming up. We've got some NBA Finals chat coming out because I think the Thunder might have wrapped that thing up yesterday. We'll get to Around the League. We've got a lot of fun stuff regarding the NFC North, including the Tuesday Tower. That is next here. Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Had a fun homestand last week at Dow Diamond, including 2 sellouts on Star Wars Night Saturday and Father's Day on Sunday. Wisconsin would take the 6-game set 4 games to 2, but Loon's bright spots throughout the week. Kendall George had a 4-ribby game on Saturday, and Jordan Thompson closed out Sunday with a nice performance, a ribby double, and a solo homer, his 6th of the year and 5th at home. Jesus Broca is 0-1. Thompson swings. Hard hit ball in the air to right. It's carrying, out! JT goes the other way and has another here at Dow Diamond. This upcoming week, Great Lakes stays home. A 6-game homestand that they begin on Tuesday at 7:05 against the Peoria Chiefs. A loaded weekend. We start with Hometown Heroes Night presented by Meyer on Tuesday. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:50.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Mary Draves, former Dow executive and leader in the Midland community.
I think as we get a little bit older, we start to care less about what other people think. If you
That's
really
a great point, yeah.
And so as I've gotten older, I think I've become way more comfortable in who I am and what I stand for. And, you know, when you get to that point, all of a sudden, you know, you become less apologetic about who you are. You also, you know, you're like, hey, this is me, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
And I think in my 20s versus maybe I'm in my 50s now, it's a very different person. And that's just really part of the continuum of growth.
Listen to the full interview with Mary on 100.9 The Mitt's YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
It is the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Kari Kiefer from Freeland High School. With a 3.97 GPA, Kari is a 3-sport athlete competing in cross country, track, and basketball. Kari is a leader on the floor and talked on what she thinks makes an effective leader.
I think to be a great leader, you have to be able to hold each other accountable, like being able to give constructive criticism, but also a positive with it. Anytime I kind of talk with my teammates, I try to give them a positive if I'm going to give them a negative too, just to kind of balance it out and keep that relationship strong.
Kari scored over 1,500 points in her 4 seasons at Freeland. She'll continue her basketball and academic career at Northwood University. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
Now, wait a second, Sharon. So the Midland Area Community Foundation runs the Midland Area Santa House?
You bet we do.
And Midland Area River Days?
Absolutely.
Plus scholarships for students and grants for local nonprofits? That's like hitting the cycle and impacting our community.
Anyone can step up to the plate and help build community capital for as little as $5.
$5? That's the cost of a snack at the ballpark. How do I get in the game?
Just visit midlandfoundation.org and make a gift to our community investment fund. Every dollar makes a difference.
Join the team. Give today at midlandfoundation.org.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, I told you guys there was going to be a good amount of NFC North talk today, and I'd like to start that out right now. The Tuesday Tower here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Today it's going to be the best players in the NFC North. So if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to pop that graphic up. If you're listening in your car, I'll try to explain it the best way I can. But hey, always that incentive to go watch on YouTube because we've got some graphics that Kyle cooks up as well. At the bottom of the pyramid today, again, this is a top 10, but kind of tiered off in a different way. 4 guys at the bottom tier, 3 guys in the second to bottom tier, then 2, and then 1. The best players in the NFC North, I'll start at the top. The king of the North is Penei Sewell. I don't think this is up for debate. A lot of Vikings fans would probably suggest that that Justin Jefferson should have that spot because, first team All-Pro multiple years. One of these guys is going to make the Hall of Fame. So is Penei Sewell. So we can sit here and argue about how awesome Justin Jefferson is. And we can explain, I'm sure the argument for a Vikings fan would be, hey, wide receiver is a little bit more of an important position to win a championship than right tackle. My counter argument to that would be Penei Sewell already has 2 first-team All-Pros at the age of 24 years old. He's only one of 2 offensive tackles to ever do that. And he's also pacing right now to catch Jerry Rice in all-time first-team All-Pros at 10. That is the record. And with the start that Penei Sewell has had to his career, nothing his rookie season, the last 2 seasons, first team, I don't see him, unless he gets hurt, which he hasn't, unless he gets hurt, I don't see him not making a first-team All-Pro for a while. I legitimately think the guy he's chasing is the all-time record holder for first-team All-Pro. I think he's levels above everybody else, basically on the offensive line across the league. So for that reason, he is my king of the North. The next level of the pyramid, the Dukes, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson. The 2 wide receivers for the 2 best teams in the North, at least last season. I'm not going to make the argument that I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a better receiver than Justin Jefferson, because I don't think that. But it should be noted, the last 2 seasons, total numbers, Amon-Ra St. Brown has more yards, touchdowns, and receptions than Justin Jefferson. A lot of that is because 2 seasons ago, Justin Jefferson got hurt and only played in 9 games. That matters. Right? If we're doing who's the king of this division, who are the best players here, the production at the end of the day over the past 2 seasons matters. Now, at the end of the day, they're on the same level. They're the Dukes. They're the second tier. So I'm not going to be forced to pick one or the other. I think Justin Jefferson's the better player, but Amon-Ra St. Brown has had the better production over the last 2 seasons. More consistent, 2 first-team All-Pro appearances, only 1 for Justin Jefferson, but he had 1 in 2022 as well. And was
putting Amon-Ra on the
year.
left side of Jets, though?
That doesn't mean anything.
Kind of implying you think he's better?
No, that doesn't mean anything here. The third level of the pyramid, the Knights. Aiden Hutchinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch. This is where other fans in the NFC North tell me this is a biased list. My argument for that would be, tell me who else deserves to be ahead of these 3 guys. Now, the only real argument you can make is like Xavier McKinney and Andrew Van Ginkel, who are both on the last tier of the pyramid. But I'd rather have any 3 of these guys in the second tier than Van Ginkel or Xavier McKinney, even though those 2 guys made first-team All-Pros last year. Brian Branch didn't make an All-Pro team, but again, we've talked about it. I think he's the queen piece on a chessboard. You can do so many different things with him on defense, and if you're a defensive coordinator, that's kind of the dream person to have in your secondary because you can put him in the slot, you can have him play nickel, you can have him play safety over the top, you can put him in the box and play linebacker in a dime set. So Brian Branch, because of his versatility, I think has to be on this list in this tier, and is also one of the best run-stuffing safeties in the NFL. Parlay that with his reaction skills and coverage. It's second to none. Jahmyr Gibbs, 5th in total yards last season, rushing yards that is, in the regular season, on the 11th the most attempts. Make that make sense. Oh, I'll make it make sense. It's because he was tied for the most 15-plus yard carries in the NFL last season. If this dude were to have gotten the ball as much as Saquon did last year, I think their numbers are very comparable. Obviously, Saquon has like the best running back season ever, but I really do think that's just because he got the ball way more than everybody else. Not to take anything away from him. It was an incredible season, stayed healthy. But in terms of the difference in skill between Saquon and Gibbs, I don't think it's all that different. And then Hutchinson, if he doesn't get hurt last season, he probably takes Amon-Ra's spot at that second level because Hutchinson was on pace to do some pretty historic stuff in terms of the advanced stuff and pressures. He was averaging 10 a game, which had never been done or even been close to being done before because he was playing all those backup tackles. But I still think the numbers at the end of the day at the end of the year, even if he wouldn't have gotten 170, he was looking to finish with 17 sacks, 100, still looking to break that pressures record, which was 105. But for now, I think he's good in that third tier. And then the fourth tier, this is where things get controversial. Andrew Van Ginkel for the Vikings, Xavier McKinney for the Packers, two guys that were first-team All-Pro last year. Another guy that was first-team All-Pro last year, Kirby Joseph, who led the league in interceptions. And then the last person I have is Caleb Williams in this tier. Now, this is going to be confusing for a lot of people because I myself will admittedly put my hand up and say I was not a fan of anything Caleb Williams did last year. There were some red flags. But you know what happens here in the offseason, Kyle? You start to convince yourself of some stuff. You start to buy into some narratives. And I'm re-entering the conversation and dipping my toes in the water for how I felt this time of the year last year when I was all in on Caleb Williams. You talk yourself into worst situation possibly drafted into. Coaching staff that was not only clueless, but incompetent and directly impacting this guy's rookie season. 3 different play callers, none of which knew what they were doing. The culture from an organizational standpoint was atrocious, amongst the worst in the league. And because of that, you saw ultimately disappointing season for Caleb Williams. But now I'm starting to watch some of the tape, throw on some of these throws that he's making that certainly no one else in the NFC North of the quarterbacks can make. Ben Johnson, who we all thought was the best thing since sliced bread, is now the play caller. And again, like whether or not he can recreate that Lions culture is still to be determined. But we do know that this guy is an elite play caller. They had guys like Colston Loveland in the mix. They've still got a good receiving core in Roma Dunze, and they had Luther Burden and DJ Moore still there. I'm starting to convince myself that Caleb Williams is still worthy of that 1.01 pick and still has that ceiling of being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, despite the biggest red flag for me last year being there was consistently defensive linemen chasing him down. But I'm starting to talk myself into it. So if this list is based on what happened last year, which I'm a little bit inconsistent with the list, I'll admit that, Caleb Williams shouldn't be on this. But if we're talking about excitement going into next season, I do think that Caleb Williams belongs on this list over the other quarterbacks in this league. And I hate that I'm saying it out loud, but I'm starting to get a lot closer to where I was at this time last year versus where I was 6 months ago, having watched a half season of Caleb Williams, if that makes sense. So you can jump in wherever, Kyle. You can talk about who I snubbed from this list. I've already got some feedback that Jalen Johnson should have been here, even though pretty down season last year compared to 2023. But what sticks out about the Tuesday Tower this week?
I hate how excited you just got over Caleb Williams.
I know. With
that
a smile on my face, too.
Did you
it's
see
terrible.
yourself? You were
I know.
doing this, rubbing your hands, like your face. You were getting like jittery.
I know.
What was that?
I hate that this guy's on the Bears,
I haven't seen you talk about the Lions like that.
I hate that this guy's on the Bears so much because I loved him so much.
I almost
in college.
turned off your mic during that segment.
So
that was awful.
I know. And the Lions fan in me hates that I think all these things, but just the football fan in me, oh my gosh, man, I get so excited watching and thinking about Caleb Williams. I really do. I know, it's disgusting. I'm sorry.
It's disgusting, yeah. Okay, so you're essentially saying Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the division, right?
I don't think he's the best quarterback, but we'll get into this a little bit.
do.
No, I
don't
have
think
him
over any quarterback.
I don't think he is. I got to be careful
How
with my
would you not have
here.
a different quarterback on here then if that's not how you feel?
Because I think Caleb Williams' play is more important than any other quarterback's play in terms of the team's actual success in this division, right? Jared Goff can kind of be mediocre, and they're still going to find ways to win games. Like, they're still going to beat the living crap out of bad teams. There's not a lot of bad teams on the schedule, but we saw that last season, right? Jared Goff can play very bad against good teams, and they still win. Caleb Williams, the way that he's playing, the ups and downs, I think basically change the outcome of every Bears game. If he's going to be able to be that number 1 overall pick, all of a sudden we're talking about the Bears as a playoff team. If he's going to be a little bit more that he was, if he's going to be a different version, but mostly the same of what he was last year, okay, then they're probably, an average team. Like they'll go 500.
So, but you think that he is going to be good then? Because if obviously he plays bad, then that impacts the Bears in a negative way.
Yeah.
So you think he's the best quarterback? You wouldn't put him on here if you think he's going to be bad.
I think he has the potential to be the best quarterback in this division.
Okay, that's all I was looking for out of you.
Yeah.
That's really only like the big thing about the list. I think it is funny how you were like, Yeah, I know Van Ginkel and McKinney were first-team All-Pro last year, but
but
Brian Branch is over them.
But don't tell me you'd rather have either of those guys than Brian. Kirby Joseph was first-team All-Pro last year, and I'd still rather have Brian Branch.
That's fair. I don't really disagree too much with that.
And I love Van Ginkel.
The one part that I think is pretty debatable that you just kind of tossed away, Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver we've seen since Calvin Johnson. And just to say it's no debate that Penei Sewell's over him, I love Penei Sewell. Every Lions fan loves Penei Sewell. We got to recognize how good Justin Jefferson is. At a position that is probably more valuable.
Definitely more
but
valuable.
But it's close. I don't know. Tackle's probably third or fourth.
Here's the thing. Are we certain that Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL since Calvin Johnson?
I would say he is. He's better than Jamar Chase, if that's where you're going.
That's not where I'm going. But prime Tyreek Hill was something else. B.
No, Jefferson's better.
How far back do you have to go to find a 24-year-old offensive tackle that has the season and has the 2 years and has the projection that Penei Sewell has?
This is the argument that yes.
The answer is Anthony Muniz, like the best tackle of all time.
Right.
He's levels above to me.
Agreed. I'm not saying that Jefferson should be first. To say it's no debate, that's how you open things up, kind of crazy.
Fair. One note on Van Ginkel, because there's at least one person that's like, what's a Van Ginkel? Think like he's the guy on Minnesota with the long hair. Looks like Alex Anzalone a little bit, but plays more of a Derek Barnes role to where he's doing a little bit of everything. 12 sacks, 2 interceptions, both brought back for a pick 6 last year. 1 forced fumble, 37 stops, which is that PFF stat that basically suggests he caused a failure of a play for the offense. He was just all over the place last year. Like truly a terrifying guy to throw the ball anywhere near in coverage because he could just come out of nowhere and pick a ball off in the flats, and also constantly getting after the quarterback. So that is your Tuesday tower. You know what I'm going to do after the show today? I'm going to head to the Midland Community Center. The Greater Midland Community Center is your hub for health, wellness, and fun right in the heart of Midland, from fitness classes and open gym to swimming, youth sports, family activities, some classes going on. There's something for everybody. Affordable memberships, expert staff, and welcoming spaces for all ages and abilities. If you're hosting an event, ask about their rental spaces and full-service event support. Stay active, stay connected, all under one roof at the Greater Midland Community Center. Learn more or sign up at greatermidland.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Michigan Baseball Foundation is more than just baseball. It's a driver of economic growth and community. Operating one of the nation's top minor league stadiums, MBF supports job creation and regional development. Through creative partnerships and charitable giving, MBF has helped bring projects like Dow Diamond, the East End Development, Fairfield Inn and Suites, the Plaza, and the Dow Bay Area Family YMCA to life, generating over $23 million annually in economic impact. Every Great Lakes Loons ticket supports these efforts. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
A beautiful yard increases both the value of your home and the quality of your life. Commercially, landscaping creates a positive impression of your professionalism and commitment to community, customers, and employees. Cervinsky Sod has been creating and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
Step right up to Lucky Hot Dog Night with the Great Lakes Loons, Thursday, June 19th. Feeling lucky? Golden tickets will be hidden in the wrappers of our hot dogs throughout the game. It's Thirsty Thursday, presented by J.P. O'Sullivan Distributing, with half-off beer all night. And we'll have a post-game fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. Calling all royalty. Join the Great Lakes Loons for Princess Night, presented by High Country Jumpers. Saturday, June 21st. The Loons will take the field in magical Moana-inspired jerseys. Stick around after the game for a dazzling fireworks loontacular, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. It's a night fit for the whole family. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think replay should be taken out of basketball entirely. I think 2 super conferences would fix college football. I think the best football, basketball, and baseball players of all time are currently playing. I think the day the Lions win the Super Bowl is going to be the greatest day of my life. I think Monty Williams sabotaged the Pistons on purpose, and you can't convince me otherwise. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, but most definitely cheated, got caught, and ran away. And I think you should tune into the Ben Bosscher Show, fueled by Forward Energy, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt if you agree with anything I just said.
From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt. From Midland to Bay City, Saginaw to Sanford. From Frankenmuth, Freeland, and Hemlock to Auburn, Essexville, and Pinconning. 100.9 The Mitt is the heartbeat of the Great Lakes Bay region and proud of it. We're your home for local sports, local stories, and local pride. Whether you're in Birch Run, Beaverton, Gladwin, Chesapeake, or Coleman. Football, basketball, hockey, Spartans, NFL, Loons, all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, hashtag make the NBA cool again. That's what I've been trying to do for the better part of, I don't know, when the payoffs start, October of 23. Yeah, we're trying to make basketball cool again because I certainly love it. And I think these finals have been so entertaining because it hasn't been what everyone normally thinks of when they think of the NBA, just a ton of three-point shooting and not really, playing fundamental hoops. But that has kind of been the case here. These are two teams that aren't at the top of the league in three-point shooting. Definitely want to play with some pace, but this Thunder defense is kind of what makes this finals team and this Thunder team so historic. And last night I thought was a perfect example of it. I've loved everything we've seen from Tyrese Halliburton over this playoff run, not just the buzzer beaters, but the style of play where it's like, hey, this guy's a superstar, but he's not out there to get 30 points. He's just helping his team generate offense. And does he need to score more than what he finished with 6 points yesterday? Yeah, ideally.
0 at halftime, yeah.
Ideally, he does have more than that, but I don't want to sit here and bash him for him. I think this is more of a praise to the Thunder defense because on top of dealing with the ankle injury or leg injury or whatever, they end up ruling it as
injured.
Clearly playing injured, but I'm not even sure if it matters because this Thunder defense is impossible to penetrate through and get to the paint. It's truly incredible how many it's so hard to defend NBA talents one-on-one. I think people forget how difficult and how skilled the offensive players are in today's NBA. Everyone, there's no defense anymore. Because it's impossible to play defense. It's way harder now than it was 30 years ago when guys weren't a threat to pull up 30 feet from the basket. You have to be so athletic, and these guys on offense are so skilled that to stay in front of them without fouling is damn near impossible. The Thunder have basically 5 guys that can do it, though. In Dort and Caruso, and then you get Wiggins in there, and even SGA's, he's not
Wallace, too.
Yeah, Wallace. SGA's not to the level of any of those other guys, but he's certainly no pushover.
If he's your worst defender on the perimeter, he's an elite worst defender.
Because he's jumping into passing lanes and picking off, getting steals and going in transition. You know what's insane about this Thunder team, Kyle? Throwing a simple pass as the Pacers or fill-in-the-blank team is so difficult to accomplish. How many passes were thrown yesterday where it's just oh my God, as soon as they throw it,
there's Caruso.
Yeah, bye. 2 points for the Thunder on the other side.
And they're so good in the break as well. Off of turnovers, they are so good.
Because no one's out there hunting their own shot. Except, I mean SGA, but
I was about to say, he probably hunts his own shot more than anyone in the whole league.
But in transition, he's perfectly fine giving the ball up and pushing the ball ahead. We could sit here and bash Thunder or the Pacers, and that's probably what, if you turn on Get Up or whatever shows on ESPN right now, that's
Tyrese Halliburton needs to step up.
He needs to step up. But I think this is a Thunder thing more than anything. Yes, he's dealing with an injury. Yes, you'd like him to score more, but that's not really who Tyrese Halliburton is, and I think that's perfectly okay, and he's comfortable being that. This is more so I cannot believe how good this Oklahoma City Thunder team is between Caruso and Dort. Dort really might be the best defender in the league. And you know what? We're gonna run out of time here, but I kind of want to tell the world and everyone listening what was going on in our basketball group chat last night when talking about Caruso and TJ McConnell, if you remember that, Kyle. All right, so here's what's coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Which Tiger's in the biggest slump? We kind of hinted at that earlier. We're going to keep it rolling here. We've got an Around the League, some more NFC North quarterback conversations. It's the Ben Bosscher Show.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
The new rebranded Matt Smith Modern Realty.
Well, Matt Smith Outdoors was really reflective of how I started my real estate journey, taking my outdoor experience, moving that into the real estate space to help people buy and sell land. So many people in this region ended up calling me and wanting me to work with them to help them buy and sell homes. This new brand was more reflective of what I'm delivering to people in this region every day.
From making athletic footwear stronger and lighter to powering the future of electric racing vehicles, material science and R&D are the MVPs of innovation. At Dow, we collaborate with customers and partners to tackle a wide range of sports product challenges with cutting-edge advancements in technology. Dow's innovations can help to improve performance and sustainability throughout the world of sports. Dow, at the intersection of sports and science.
Calling all royalty. Join the Great Lakes Loons for Princess Night, presented by High Country Jumpers. Saturday, June 21st. The Loons will take the field in magical Moana-inspired jerseys. Stick around after the game for a dazzling fireworks loontacular, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. It's a night fit for the whole family. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Loons. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Hour number 2, the Ben Bosscher Show. Keep it rolling live on 100.9 The Mitt, live on YouTube as well. Shout out to all the people that are listening on that end. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We'll get to some of those comments coming up a little bit later in the show. Again, you guys can text in 989-837-6125. Kyle, earlier today we were giving one tiger basically superpowers. You've got lighter fluid. You've got a lighter. Which one of these tigers wants to light themselves on fire for the next 24... Whoa. You know what I mean? For the next 24 games up until the All-Star break, who would you just give the lighter fluid to and say, hey, heat up? I said Torkelson. You said Parker Meadows. A lot of people echoed what you thought. But in terms of who is just truly in the biggest slump right now, it's pretty hard to make the argument that it's anybody but Kerry Carpenter. And we went over some of the stats earlier of the runners in scoring position, how pretty disastrous those have been this season. But you mentioned the last 25 games, equally as bad. Kerry Carpenter is definitely someone who needs to, if we're doing he needs to step up. He kind of is someone who needs to step up here for the next 24 games and the rest of the season, because these numbers are not the Kerry Carpenter numbers that we saw last year throughout the whole course of the season, or the awesome run to end the regular season, or the postseason. This is actually the worst version of Kerry Carpenter of all 4 of those stretches of Tigers baseball. And not that it's not good enough, because they're in first place in the AL Central, but at some point that's going to need to turn around if you want to actually go on a postseason run. And, the postseason, everybody's numbers go back to 0. So sitting here and complaining about his numbers in June, maybe that's hopeless, but you do need to see an improvement in those numbers eventually, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think the runners in scoring position one is the most concerning thing. We all know who Kerry Carpenter is. He's not going to be this guy that crushes lefties. One, because he's not going to get a lot of opportunities. AJ Hinch knows that. That's something that we echoed preseason. Like, hey, we want to see Kerry Carpenter bat against lefties. Well, there's a reason he doesn't bat against lefties.
Yeah.
Because he's not very good against them. But if he's not great against righties either, then it becomes a situation of, well, then you're okay with him not playing in these games every day and him being a pinch hitter when there's a lefty starting on the mound. So, yeah, it's ultra important for him to step up. Like I said, the last 25 game sample isn't great, but I think your stat about the runners in scoring position is more important because of how big of a clutch hitter he's been, especially in the postseason last year, but just in general for this Tigers team. Like, he is one of the few guys you want at the plate in a win or lose situation. And the numbers don't suggest that.
Javi Baez actually had the opposite effect of this last season, and it was something I was kind of passionate about. Of Javi Baez, despite how horrible he was for the most part last year, I wanted him to be moved up in the lineup so that he could actually, rather than being in the 9-hole, be in a position to where he can help out some of these guys that consistently get on base more. Because Javi Baez, even as disastrous as the numbers have been before this season, as his time as a Tiger, the numbers have always suggested when there are runners in scoring position, Javi Baez, more often than not, will have his best at-bats. Because Javi, rather than swinging for the fences and trying to hit a ball to Mars when no one was on base, when he was in that 9-hole basically every day last season, when he actually had runners in scoring position, he was just trying to put barrel to the ball. And often he'd do that, find the gaps. That's why his career numbers, I don't have them pulled up in front of me, but we've done it enough times where I know the career numbers with runners in scoring position, specifically as a tenure with the Tigers, blow all of his other numbers out of the water. Kerry Carpenter's having the exact opposite effect here, where he sees that runner's in scoring position. He wants to come through, hit the bomb, carry bonds, and he's striking out a lot more often than he's doing anything else at that moment. So I think that's actually hurting him, whereas a guy like Javi, it actually helped him a little bit. Now, it's a little bit different because Kerry Carpenter, that's what he's here for, right? He's here to hit big shots to the outfield. He's here to get the gaps. He's here to hit home runs, let's be honest. But I wonder if the mentality is more so I'm just going to crush this ball rather than let's just make good contact and the rest will take care of itself. Because the 2 walks, what'd you say? It was 25 strikeouts and 2 walks over the past...
Yeah, 23 Ks to 2 walks in the last 25 games.
Yeah, it's just not good.
Just 16 hits, too. So 18 combined hits and walks compared to the 23 Ks.
And we saw Riley Green struggle with this early on in April when he had that 1 for 31 stretch with 18 Ks. He changed his walk-up song and everything changed. So maybe that's all Kerry Carpenter needs to do. But I wonder if Kerry Carpenter just needs to talk to Riley Green a little bit and just be like, dude, how'd you fix that? Because right now I'm just swinging for the fence every single time. And it's actually hurting me before it's making me better.
And we've seen a lot less of Kerry Carpenter in the lineup lately, too. Now, a lot of that is managers playing chess with AJ Hinch and kind of matching the opener vibe. We saw 2 openers in the last week against the Tigers. Usually they're the only team that does that. But I think that the Tigers team and AJ Hinch, they're noticing what's going on, obviously. Carpenter's been less involved as of late. With Perez coming back, that changes things, but he's been good, and he's earned that spot in the lineup, so it makes it easy for them to just have Kerry Carpenter be a pinch hitter for a lot of these games.
Do you think moving him down in the lineup, do you think he would take that as a diss? Because we've seen Torkelson in this 5 spot throughout the season, and I don't think anyone's ever been like, well, it's because he's struggling. No, but Kerry's consistently been in that 3 or 4 spot.
Hey, he was leadoff for a while there.
And leadoff. To move him down to 5 or 6, not as a punishment, not because you don't believe in him, but just to kind of freshen things up in the lineup and give him a different look where it's like, hey, you're not our cleanup guy today. We don't need you to just swing for the fences. Here's now your goal is just kind of to get guys moving around the bases, right? Don't aim for the fences. Just we need some production out of you right here in the 6 hole. Do you think he'd take that as a diss?
I don't know if he'd take it as a diss, but I'm against the idea, honestly. Just because he still is that guy. He's still the dude you want in situations, hitting cleanup, hitting third. Like, you would rather have him in that spot than, who are you moving up? McKinstry? I get that he's good, but he brings that.
I'm saying Green or Torkelson should be 3-4 every day.
Okay.
And then maybe Carpenter 5. I guess 6 is probably a little bit of a
difference
stretch.
is that, though? That's not like that.
No, it's not that big of a deal, but we saw a change in the lineup of where Parker was instantly helped him out. Like,
right.
Hey, you had this expectation to be the leadoff hitter. You move him down to the 9 spot. It's a little bit more let it rip mentality. Instantly hits a home run. I just wonder if I
don't think he would take it as a diss, no, because
moving
I think everyone's bought in.
Agreed. And I just wonder if sometimes moving in, AJ Hinch has a lot more baseball experience and could explain this a lot better than I could. But I just wonder if sometimes moving a guy down in the lineup to where we're asking you to do something slightly different here can freshen a guy's mindset and kind of lift him up a little bit. Just the change in what we're asking you to do can help spark something new.
Right, but how much do they want him to change? It's not like he's been in a slump the entire year. It's not like they want him to change his at-bats completely, right?
Stop trying to
hit
a home run every at-bat, I think, is
But that's what you want him to do, isn't it? Is it not?
Not when you end up hitting 100 for an entire month. If that's your mentality, you got to switch something up. Numbers aren't good enough right now. He needs to step up.
He does need to step up. And that's why Carpenter is a good choice for the who would you pick to heat up over the next month, because of how bad it's been for the previous month.
I still think it's Torkelson. But if we're strictly talking about slumps and getting guys out of slumps,
right?
Casey Mize is the other option to me. Because Casey's last 3 games have been disastrous. I don't think quite cuts it.
Not disastrous.
Yeah, disastrous doesn't quite
Jack Flaherty's start the other day was disastrous. Mize has had none of those.
Yeah, he's just gotten himself into some pretty tricky situations, and he's gotten out of them. But if Dan Dickerson's kind of calling you out as, he's kind of all over the place, no command of the ball right now, just doesn't really have it. And Dan Dickerson saying those things, it was not a great outing.
The issue is you need to trust Mize to go 5 or 6, 5 or 6 every
right
game.
In there?
Yeah, I don't know. But the bullpen has had to come in much earlier in his starts, the last 3, which has really hindered the rest of the series, because with the rotation right now, they've had to have openers, they've had to have bullpen days.
Mm-hmm.
So when guys like Mize are on the mound, you need him to put out a solid outing, just distance-wise, to keep the rest of the series alive for the pen, and that hasn't happened in his last 3.
And especially, it feels like a lot of the games he's started have been the first game of a series. That's just kind of how it works out. And if you kill your pen early on in a series, well, then you're setting yourself up for some gross stuff in the later half of the series as well. So yeah, Casey Mize bouncing back, I think, is important tonight. Again, it hasn't been disastrous. Like, he's still getting swing and miss pitches, which was what was absent from his game in Arsenal last season.
Yeah, he's still 14 Ks over his last 3 starts. Like, that's fine.
But a lot of hits. I think he had 8 hits
22
surrendered.
hits.
Yeah. 8 hits surrendered in just the last outing. And he picked up a win in there, so it's not like it's, I guess he hasn't picked up a win, but the Tigers won one of those games.
He only went 5 innings in one of those 3 starts as well. And it was 5 1/3.
After going, do you have the game log pulled up right in front of you?
Yeah.
What was it the first 8 games? How many times did he go below 5 innings? Probably not a lot.
Not a lot. He went under 5 innings 0 times.
Yeah, he was truly one of the best pitchers in the league.
Yeah, his start against KC, and when we say these 3 starts ago, that was the first of the third. First time he went under 5 all year.
He led the league in wins for a while, or was tied for the top of the league in wins, because every time he went out there, the Tigers won a game, and he was picking up the win in the column.
And he's still good. We can't freak out about this, and we're not.
No.
Because he's still a sub-3 ERA on the season guy, right? This isn't where Flaherty had those few starts in a row where you're like, whoa. And then obviously he bounced back and was great. So we're not overreacting to this, but it's definitely still a slump he's been in, and you'd love for him to get out of it, especially with the current state of the rotation.
Who's one more random person that you might have be a candidate to give the lighter fluid in this situation? Because is it crazy to say like Jack Flaherty just get even better?
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, is it weird to say like Riley Green?
The only reason I didn't say Riley Green is because
he's already been good, but if you're lighting him up to be like super duper star for the next month,
then I think he's your best player. But
he already is their best player.
Yeah, but if your best player gets that hot, like all of a sudden you're talking like Riley Green's version of hot is like probably 280 average, 900
like what he's
OPS.
Doing right now. Well, yeah, not quite 900 OPS, but
he's struggled a little bit here in the last month. But the reason
I wouldn't say that.
The reason I didn't pick Riley is because Riley, I think, is the most consistent player on the team. There's not a ton of like super high highs and there's not a ton of super low lows. And when there are lows, he usually follows them up with highs. Like he usually responds to his slumps very well. So I wasn't going to pick Riley because the worst version of Riley's still the second best player on this team.
You know, a sneaky pick is like a guy who has been good. He's not slumping at all. But Colt Keith, if he is going to be consistent third baseman, if he really lit up over the next month, I think that's a good pick as well. You could make the case for a lot of guys.
You could make the case for a lot of guys. 989-837-6125. Who would you choose to light up for the rest of the first chunk of the season? 24 games left until the All-Star break. We've got an Around the League coming up. We're going to rank the NFC North quarterbacks. And we've still got some more Tigers conversations to get to. But before we get to any of that, let me tell you about my friends at Farm Bureau, Aaron and Garcia. At Aaron Garcia Farm Bureau Insurance, they understand not everyone's insurance needs are the same. They want to work with you personally to create something best suited for your needs, whether it's life, home, auto, fiscal insurance. It's available with Farm Bureau, Aaron, and Garcia. The team's got over 100 years of combined experience. They know exactly how to put you in the best position. Experience matters. That's why Aaron and Garcia Farm Bureau Insurance is the way to go. Around the League next here on the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Hey, did you guys catch anything yet?
Not a thing.
Bummer, neither have we. I'm actually just about to head into town. I'm going to go into Higher Standards Automotive. They got this award-winning service department with amazing technicians and this large parts department in case I want to fix it myself. They got the part there.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious, man. It's out there.
Yeah, just like when you tried to convince me Bigfoot was real.
Ray?
Bigfoot's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, we gotta run. Get out. Stop into Higher Standards Automotive, North Eastman Road in Midland, right past the mall.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the local job market. We're here in person. And we're locally owned, so you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at Spherion.com to find your local Spherion office. Let's get to work.
Calling all royalty. Join the Great Lakes Loons for Princess Night, presented by High Country Jumpers. Saturday, June 21st. The Loons will take the field in magical Moana-inspired jerseys. Stick around after the game for a dazzling fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. It's a night fit for the whole family. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
Looking for an unforgettable baseball experience? Look no further than The Dock with the Great Lakes Loons. Our exclusive 4-person premium soft seats are located directly behind home plate. It puts you in the middle of all the action. Plus, wait staff service is included, and you can purchase drink packages to enhance your game day experience. Call 989-837-BALL for information or visit the tickets tab at loons.com.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right. One of my favorite segments of every show. Every day we do it. Let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
All right, Ben, it's been an NFC North heavy day today, right?
We still got more to get to.
We do
Starting
have
right
more
now.
to get to, and we're doing it right now. So ESPN put out and go for it.
I was just going to throw this out there. I think yesterday or 2 days ago when we did Around the League, we were talking about which division is the best, and we suggested the AFC North. Or the AFC West with the Chiefs and Chargers and Broncos.
Did we suggest that?
I think so, and maybe I did. After further review,
no,
I think it's definitely the North. You've got 3 teams that expect, 4 teams really that expect, or you can at least convince yourself can make the playoffs. The Bears,
absolutely 4 teams, yeah.
The Bears have the shortest odds of any team with the longest odds in their division to win the playoffs, if that makes sense. So of all the 4th place teams, they have the shortest odds. They have tied for the shortest odds. Do you want to guess the other team that is 4th in odds in their division that has the shortest odds? Plus 550, yeah.
The Raiders?
I think I explained that right.
No, there's no way.
No, but team has direct ties to the Raiders after this offseason.
The Patriots?
Nope.
I don't know. Just tell me.
The Seahawks. So, according to Vegas, the NFC North and the NFC West are the 2 most open divisions in terms of all 4 teams can win it.
But one of them is clearly better than the other. Like, the NFC West is way worse this year than it was in previous years, I would say.
I agree, yeah.
From expectations.
They just don't know what to make of San Fran and the Rams and I think it's
San
Fran, Seattle, and the Cardinals. They just don't really know what to make of them.
Last year, the NFC North with a win percentage of .662, best by a division since 2002.
Which is when they switched to 4 divisions in each conference.
So, great division last year, could be better this year. So today we're doing, ESPN dropped an article just asking some questions specifically about the NFC North, and all 4 ESPN beat reporters for each team answered the questions. And I want you to answer them too, with your pick, but obviously react to the other picks. So starting off, which quarterback has the most to prove in the NFC North? Here's the really fun part about this question. All 4 reporters picked a different quarterback.
That's because there's reason to believe in, like, there's reason that all 4 quarterbacks are under pressure, and it's all for completely different reasons.
Absolutely.
Jordan Love, less than a year ago, was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Now, he's not anymore, but they decided to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and they still have not had really any sort of success other than beating the Cowboys in that playoff game, but that was more so a collapse of the Cowboys than anything. It's his 3rd year as a starter, man. They got to figure it out whether or not he's the guy or not. They paid him like he was the guy, so they've got that to figure out. There's pressure on him for that reason. The Vikings have a ton of pressure on them because there's expectation to make the playoffs. They expect to be in the postseason. So if they don't, it is a failure on behalf of J.J. McCarthy. As for Jared Goff's sneaking back into the can he win the big game conversation because the last 2 playoff games that they've played, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 59% completion percentage. All of his numbers take a big dip once the playoffs roll around, and a lot of that's because you're playing a better pass rush, better secondary. That kind of exposes a lot of Jared Goff's issues to where if a play breaks down and he gets under pressure, there's just not a lot of other options. Like the offense kind of has to run well. So I think all three quarterbacks. I don't know what the case for Caleb Williams would be. That there's.
I almost like Caleb Williams has the biggest case.
Why?
Because the Bears always have expectations for no reason.
But
they're always the team that's going to blow up. Caleb Williams went first overall ahead of Jaden Daniels, who already went to the NFC Championship game as a rookie. And now they bring in Ben Johnson, who's one of the biggest offensive geniuses in the entire league. If they don't figure it out this year, or at least Williams doesn't, then people might be out on him.
I feel like we're in a phase right now of like, we're feeling bad for Caleb. It's like
who is we?
Bears fans. It's like, we're sorry for what happened to you last year. Like that's on us. Because they don't have to make the playoffs, and they could still feel really good about Caleb Williams this year if they have like 9 wins. If they go 9,
I don't know, dude. They
1.
they were really aggressive this offseason. They bolstered up the offensive line, which I don't think it's still that great of a unit, but
yeah. But if you go 9-8 and if you go 9-8,
well, yeah,
and don't make the playoffs, like that's a successful season for this team. So that's why I don't think it's Caleb. I'm gonna say Goff, because if the Lions were to lose their division title and someone else were to claim the NFC North, that would be devastating for Lions fans. So I think there is a real expectation to go back to back to back in the division, and if they don't, probably a lot to do with a lack of Ben Johnson and a lack of really taking over from Jared Goff. So I'll go with Goff here. They have to win the division again.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing in this article is just like, can Goff lead a team to a Super Bowl? You kind of talked about it. Like, can he win the big game?
Yeah.
This team has more expectations than any of the other ones. So I would probably agree with you on Goff. I do think McCarthy is under more pressure than a guy in his situation probably should be.
Yeah.
But he is.
Because the Bears can miss the playoffs, and I don't think they'll point to Caleb Williams as the reason why. Vikings miss the playoffs. Everyone right to J.J. McCarthy. It will be his fault.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next. Which front office won the offseason? Answers. Do you want me to tell you what the big answer is here, or do you kind of want to talk about it first?
No, I mean, are we talking about like who won the headlines or who actually improved their team the most?
Who actually improved their team the most? It seems how they're doing it.
It's definitely not the Packers. I don't really understand what they did this offseason other than just add Matthew Golden, which was a bad first-round pick. You could argue the Lions just because they're getting healthy. It's probably the Bears, though. I mean,
3 of 4 picked the Bears. The Vikings reporter picked the Vikings, of course.
I'm probably going with the Bears here because they got 3 new starters on the offensive line. Guard, center. And one of those guys is Jonah Jackson, who's completely overpaid and got benched last season. But one of them's Tooney, who's like a Super Bowl winning guard. That's a legit dude. That's where the most of the pressure was coming from last year for Caleb Williams. So to be able to patch that up, even if it's overpaid, even if it's not all 3 like awesome players, like it's definitely an upgrade. So probably the Bears and everything they did with their coaching staff. They got the guy that everyone.
That's the big part.
They got the most coveted guy in the league in Ben Johnson, and they wounded the Lions in the process of doing it. Not to mention they got Antoine Randall L as well. So yeah, I would say the Bears.
Yeah, I would agree. The Vikings reporter, by the way, argues that it's the Vikings because they saved money by not paying Sam Darnold, and they traded for Jordan Mason.
Okay. Well, they also got 3 new starters on the offensive line. So they could make that argument as well.
Right.
Will Freeze.
Who will be the best rookie in the NFC North is the next question.
I don't think it's going to be anybody on the line. I mean, even if Tate Ratledge is awesome, he's just not going to get the credit that like a skill position player could get. I don't think Matthew Golden.
They're definitely all looking at skill position players here.
It's Colson Loveland. You don't take a guy
3 of 4 for Colson Loveland.
You don't take a guy 10th overall as a new coach, new system, offensive play caller for a second-year quarterback if you don't plan on utilizing this guy to the 10th degree, basically. It's got to be Loveland. It's definitely not Golden.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't like Golden.
Well, the Packers reporter picked Golden. Of course.
Ridiculous.
Which I will say, He says when you're the first receiver your team has drafted in round 1 since 2002, you better show it was worth it. So that is fair. Like,
he'll blend in like all the other receivers they
one.
draft, man. So the group of B- receivers.
Right. Yeah, B- is generous. Okay, let's 2 more questions. Which assistant coach is most likely to be in the 2026 head coaching cycle? Obviously, for the Lions, they had both of their offensive and defensive coordinators become head coaches. A different answer here for every team. I think there is an obvious one, though.
Well, there's an obvious one in Brian Flores, but you still have to remember there's an ongoing investigation or lawsuit that he is doing against the NFL. So I do think that would hinder teams' chances to hire him, even though he's by far the most qualified person here to become a head coach again. It was the head coach of the Vikings. Had that weird Tua thing where it was like openly didn't believe in Tua, and Tua was like complaining that his coach didn't believe in him and it ruined his confidence level. Looking back, maybe he was right to not believe in Tua.
I think people would look by this stuff that's going on with Flores. It's nothing crazy, and it's all about his past time being a head coach.
If that's the case, then it's Brian Flores.
That's how I feel. I mean, he is very clearly one of the top tier non-head coaches.
He interviewed with the Bears, Jags, and Jets last season. Only one defensive coordinator got hired to be a head coach, and that was Aaron Glenn. So if there's another guy next year, it's probably him.
The other answers here, but the Bears guy did pick Brian Flores. Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. Vikings quarterbacks coach Josh McCown.
Packers offensive coordinator, okay.
Defensive coordinator. And then Eric Woodyard picked Scotty Montgomery.
That's actually not bad.
The new assistant head coach / wide receivers coach.
Yeah, because he was the running backs coach last year, and if J-Mo like balls out this year, people are going to take notice of that. Hank Fraley, not another.
You wouldn't think he would go offensive coordinator first before getting head coach?
Well, yeah, to get poached somewhere to take an offensive coordinator role. I think.
But it was to be in the head coaching cycle.
Oh.
That'd be kind of
you probably don't jump to a head coach, but
I feel like it should have been 4 for Flores here.
Yeah, Woodyard was probably just trying to be a little bit different here. I mean, it's not
fair.
It's not like either of the coordinators are getting head coaching jobs for the Lions.
Yeah. Kelvin Shepard, go crazy?
No.
All right.
Not after 1 year.
Last question. Name an unheralded player or unit that will impact the division title. 2 of the answers here are Lions related.
I'm going to say Lions D-line. I think when healthy this... What do you mean close? It's my answer.
Sorry.
I think when healthy, like when Hutch is healthy, when Aleem rejoins the team, whenever that ends up being, this has potential to be the nastiest D-line in the NFC. And if Hutchinson can be 95% of what he was last season, this is going to be a problem for opposing quarterbacks in the playoffs, especially considering the secondary. I know you asked for one unit, but can I just say Lions defense in general, I think truly has the upside to be a top 5 defense in the NFL. And we saw some flashes of that early on last year before Hutch got hurt.
Yeah, could this be the year that the Lions defense is the better unit than the offense? Be kind of wild.
I think it's a lot closer than people think. I'll say that.
I agree. So all 4 answers are offensive line related. The Bears person picks the Vikings offensive line.
3 new players.
The Packers person picks the Bears offensive line.
3 new players.
And then both the Vikings and Lions reporters picked Tate Ratledge / whoever starts at center for the Lions.
It will be Tate Ratledge. I'd be shocked if it wasn't Tate Ratledge.
The Vikings reporter didn't know. They threw maybe Graham Glasgow in there, but it's Tate Ratledge.
It's going to be Tate Ratledge. All right.
So we'll see if he impacts the division the most.
That's going to do it. Taking a trip around the league. At First Class Epoxy now in Midland, they can turn your boring concrete into smooth, shiny, durable floors. Perfect for garages, workshops, basements, anywhere you want your floor to look great, and it'll last. Their epoxy is tough enough for heavy traffic and wild dance moves. Yes, that is right. Wild dance moves. Professional prep, flawless finish, done on time and built to last. Say goodbye to stains, cracks, and dull gray floors, and say hello to slick showroom shine. Call First Class Epoxy now or visit firstclassepoxynow.com. First Class Epoxy Now, that's where your floors get Your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't know that they needed.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace Hardware and Sports in downtown Midland has some extra savings for rewards members this month. Let's clean up that yard. Save $3 instantly on select Roundup and Ortho weed killers. Save $10 on 64-ounce spruce, weed, and grass killer. You know what season it is? Grilling season. Free assembly and delivery on grills, $399 and up from brands like Weber and Traeger. Need that deck touched up? Do it and save $10 instantly on a gallon of Cabot exterior stain.
Parents, summer is almost here. Do you have a plan? Keep your kids active, engaged, and having a blast at Greater Midland Summer Camps. Every day is a new adventure filled with games, sports, creative activities, and new friendships. Plus, new this year, our full-day camps are now at the Greater Midland Tennis Center. More space, more fun, and more memories to be made. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Secure your child's best summer ever today at greatermidland.org/camps.
Transform your outdoor space with Maple Hill Nursery. Whether you're a gardening enthusiast or just looking to relax in style, they have everything you need. From premium polywood furniture that never needs painting to top quality plants and trees, Maple Hill Nursery has it all. Plus, they offer free setup and delivery on in-stock barbecue grills. Visit them today just north of Midland Mall or check out their website for pro tips and expert advice. Maple Hill Nursery, making your yard the place to be.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brandon Scott at Scott Family Dental in Midland. As someone who was born and raised here, I would like to introduce myself by offering my services as your family dental provider. At Scott Family Dental, our mission is to provide excellent and personalized care using the latest technologies and best practices. Our highly trained and personable staff ensure you will feel comfortable along the way.
Dr. Scott is accepting new patients at 2509 West Wackerly Street next to the US 10 on-ramp. Scott Family Dental, let's bring out your best smile together.
At Tommy's Express, you can get your car clean, shiny and dry in just minutes. Our state-of-the-art eco-friendly wash delivers a spotless finish every time. With the Tommy Club app, enjoy unlimited washes or paper wash. Skip the line with license plate recognition and manage everything right from your phone. Fast, clean, and simple. Visit Tommy's Express today and see the difference. Text Clean Car to 86697 for a free works wash.
Offer valid for new guests only. By participating, you consent to receive promotional information text from Tommy's Express. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies.
You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic? Yeah. We've got it. On Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt. Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters?
Yeah.
100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, I told you this would be an NFC North heavy show. We just did Around the League, going over a bunch of different questions heading into the season. But parlaying that with what we talked about in the Tuesday Tower, when I controversially?
That sounds about right.
Had Caleb Williams on the tower and no other NFC North quarterback. I feel like we need to bring that up again. Before we do, because we're a show for the people, Logan in the YouTube chat's asking predictions for NBA 2K 26 cover athlete. Just 30 seconds.
A great time to ask that, right?
I don't know. Is that supposed to be revealed today?
I have no idea. Who do you pick?
I have two people in mind. Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I was going to say Wemby. Who was on it last year?
Jason Tatum.
Wemby, for sure.
Jumps Ant in line?
Oh, yeah. That's good. Those are good choices, though.
I think those are the only two options. Unless you want to throw Kate in there. I will fully support that.
Maybe someday.
I think it's possible someday. Okay, so the quarterback thing. You seemed pretty hot. You seemed pretty upset that I had Caleb Williams on the pyramid over every other quarterback in the NFC North. And I'd like to be very clear about one thing. If I'm saying who are the best quarterbacks in the NFC North based on last season, Caleb Williams is third. Yeah, he's probably third. But if we're asking ourselves, who would you rather have going forward? I think the answer is pretty clearly Caleb Williams. If you could start your franchise heading into this season, like we're doing a fantasy draft, not fantasy football, but just like redrafting the NFL, Caleb Williams is clearly the number one pick here of the 4 quarterbacks in the NFC North.
Right.
Jared Goff's still probably second to me. Again, I just am not a Jordan Love guy. I like J.J. McCarthy, but it's all built on potential, whereas we've seen it with Jared Goff. But Caleb Williams is like, we've seen it. The flashes are there. I'm starting to regress back to where I was at this point last year, where I was horrified of what this guy was going to look like as a rookie, where I was saying this is going to be the best rookie season maybe ever. Now, it ended up happening to a different quarterback in this draft class, and Jaden Daniels, ironically. But we're in a league now where we see guys that come to the NFL with so much experience in college that they can pick up on things a lot faster. We've seen it each of the last 2 seasons with Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud having 2 of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen from that position. I wouldn't be surprised if now that there's a functioning system around Caleb Williams, we do see that year 2 leap. Maybe something that a lot of Bears fans and a lot of just football fans in general, including myself, predicted for his first season. I'm back on the Caleb Williams train, unfortunately. I hate to admit it.
I mean, he obviously is going to take a leap this year.
It'd be pretty difficult for him to regress.
Right, especially with the situation. Like, I think at minimum he will be for sure better. Probably for sure the 3rd best quarterback in this division no matter what. The argument is 1 or 2. You're not a Love guy, right? You're just out on Jordan Love?
Jordan Love is like good in theory. But we're yet to see like a 10-game stretch where Jordan Love is like consistently awesome. Throws a lot of interceptions. Doesn't have elite mobility or anything like that. Seems like Jordan Love is very good at everything. Not great at anything.
Very good at everything. That would make me think he's at least pretty solid. I'll say when I was going at you earlier about the Caleb Williams stuff, I was more so just trying to get you to say he's the best quarterback in the NFC North.
I think
you're kind of dancing around it.
I think there's a chance by December that's what we are saying.
What about right now?
Still Jared Goff.
Okay.
But I think by December we'll be saying it's Caleb Williams.
Because of a Caleb Williams jump, not necessarily a Jared Goff regression.
Slight regression from the offense, more so because of the offensive line and Ben Johnson being absent than actually Jared Goff. But again, Jared Goff's not like someone who just solves problems for you. If your team's, when you have guys like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and in theory, Caleb Williams, they can clean up for a lot of problems that your offense has. Jared Goff is not one of those guys, but is surrounded by more talent than arguably anybody else in the NFL. I don't expect a Jared Goff regression this season. I expect a Lions offensive regression. Not to the point where they're bad or even average. They're still going to be a very good offense. Are they going to be the number 1 offense in the league again? Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Whereas the Bears, again, I don't think they'll be the number 1 offense in the league. Probably going to see a pretty insurmountable jump from that offensive unit with Ben Johnson now calling plays.
And what if we don't? Because
then I'm wrong.
This was the part.
Then I'm wrong.
But not even just that. This is the part about the what quarterback is under the most pressure thing. That's why I do think Caleb Williams is under a pretty large amount of pressure. Just because of the Ben Johnson addition, and they still have really good weapons and traded up to draft Colson Loveland this high. I think that if the Bears don't perform and they don't be one of the best teams in this division, like AKA making the playoffs, I think it is on Caleb Williams.
There's definitely a little bit of that on him, not to the degree that the pressure's on J.J. McCarthy.
Fair.
But the bar was so low last season that I think that the step up is inevitable. The jump is inevitable. It's just a matter of how far that jump is. But as long as they don't have like 7 wins, if they have 8-9 wins, I think Bears fans are probably satisfied with their season, where that's not the case with J.J. McCarthy, and that's certainly not the case with the Lions. And it feels like the Packers are just stuck in, hey, Jordan Love is our quarterback. Are we excited about it? He's just our quarterback. Like, I don't know. That kind of just seems like the consensus for Packers fans right now. Nobody's like falling head over heels in love with Jordan Love, but it's like, yeah, we like our guy. It's Jordan Love. It's $55 million a year.
What's your full ranking then of the 4 QBs?
Right now or by the end of the season?
Give me both.
Right now, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, J.J. McCarthy. I like J.J. McCarthy, to be clear. By the end of the season, I think it goes Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, J.J. McCarthy, Jordan Love.
Wow, I was wondering if you were going to put JJ over Love.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's got the better weapons. Like I think they're
crazy.
going to be able to execute it, not to the degree that they did last year with Sam Darnold, just because it's a pretty tall task to ask for someone who's not considered a rookie, but it's their first season in the NFL. But I think they end up having more wins than the Packers. I think the Packers might finish last in this division.
That's what's so crazy about this division, man. They could also make the playoffs.
Do you want to guess the odds in order?
Yes, I actually do, because I have not looked at these.
I looked at them last night.
Which is pretty interesting. You got them ready?
Yeah.
Okay, Lions first.
Yep.
At what odds?
Plus 145.
It's actually not bad. I will go Packers second.
Correct.
At like what? Plus 3 something?
Plus 260.
Then I'll go Vikings third.
Correct.
And then Bears fourth. Wow.
Vikings plus 290, Bears plus 550. Everyone bunched together, more so than any other division other than the NFC West.
Bears fans don't like that.
Why?
That they're fourth.
They got to prove it still.
I agree.
They're the only team here that hasn't proved it.
No one's more delusional than Bears fans.
Oh, I can think of many fan bases more.
No, the Bears fans are the worst in the entire NFL. They think that they are some prestigious team that is always good, and this is their year every year. They're the worst.
You know way different Bears fans than I do, because all the Bears fans in my life are just kind of like, yeah, we know. It's a dysfunctional organization.
That's a good point. There is a good amount of them.
They're becoming a little bit more realistic. I think the Bears fans just don't like. I can't stand the Vikings fans that like treat the Lions like they're little bro, basically. Where it's like, oh, congrats, you've been good for 3 years. It's like, last time I checked, the Vikings and Lions have the same amount of Super Bowls. So I don't know who you think you are. But that annoys me. And then the Vikings fans are the ones that started the entire Kirby Joseph is a dirty player thing, and that still rubs me the wrong way.
True. And obviously the Packers, they just suck, you know? Like, you always are going to hate the Packers.
That's like a good rivalry, though. Like, it's not an actual personal rivalry other than just, like, FTP. That's just what it is.
It is personal because Aaron Rodgers played for the Packers. Doesn't matter that he's not on their team anymore.
Correct. 989-837-6125. Did the Thunder win the NBA Finals last night? That is next here on the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandell.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent located downtown Midland. Well, all the bad Tigers injury news we've gotten over the last couple weeks, there is some positive injury news to look at. Matt Vierling and Reese Olson both starting rehab assignments in AAA this week. And it's got me thinking, Matt Vierling, who's been a main piece of this Tigers team the last 2 years, mainly as an outfielder, but last year exploring a good amount of time at third base. What is his role once he comes back to the major leagues if he stays healthy? Obviously, earlier this year, he was up for about a week and didn't really get a ton of run before re-aggravating his shoulder, and that's why he's had to go through this long process of getting back to the majors. But if he is back 100% healthy, it's a different Tigers team now than when he came back originally. Wenzel Perez has returned and has been honestly spectacular as a bat on both sides of the plate, playing right field. And since Matt Vierling got injured a second time, Colt Keith has now been suggested to move to third base more of the time. So is Matt Vierling, who has been a starter on this team for 2 years in a row, basically every day, suddenly become a platoon bench guy, a utility bat? Zach McKinstry is the utility guy of this team, but you want him in the lineup every day with the way he's been hitting. As excited I am for Matty V to come back, I'm not really sure how much we're going to be seeing him in action with this Tigers team at full health. Remember that, presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Mary Draves, former Dow executive and leader in the Midland community.
I think as we get a little bit older, we start to care less about what other people think. If you
That's
really
a great
want
point, yeah.
And so as I've gotten older, I think I've become way more comfortable in who I am and what I stand for. And, you know, when you get to that point, all of a sudden, you know, you become less apologetic about who you are. You also, you know, you're like, hey, this is me, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
And I think in my 20s versus maybe I'm in my 50s now, it's a very different person. And that's just really part of the continuum of growth.
Listen to the full interview with Mary on 100.9 The Mitt's YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? I'm Kevin Spencer, your Midland Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how you'll get there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected.
Search Edward Jones Financial Advisor Kevin Spencer on Facebook. 416 West Wackerly in Midland, under the green awning. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Step right up to Lucky Hot Dog Night with the Great Lakes Loons, Thursday, June 19th. Feeling lucky? Golden tickets will be hidden in the wrappers of our hot dogs throughout the game. It's Thirsty Thursday, presented by J.P. O'Sullivan Distributing, with half-off beer all night. And we'll have a post-game fireworks loontacular presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think replay should be taken out of basketball entirely. I think 2 super conferences would fix college football. I think the best football, basketball, and baseball players of all time are currently playing. I think the day the Lions win the Super Bowl is going to be the greatest day of my life. I think Monty Williams sabotaged the Pistons on purpose, and you can't convince me otherwise. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, but most definitely cheated, got caught, and ran away. And I think you should tune into the Ben Bosscher Show, fueled by Forward Energy, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt if you agree with anything I just said.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
NBA Finals, they didn't wrap up yesterday, but I'm starting to get the sense that the Oklahoma City Thunder may have taken care of business yesterday in a way that sealed them in NBA Finals. This is going to be the youngest finals team basically ever, certainly of the last 30, 40 years. And with how young they are, a lot of room to still improve. That's a scary thing. One of the things that was going through my head yesterday, Kyle, because I started to think about Chet Holmgren and his time at Gonzaga and how he was the number 1 overall recruit out of high school. Do you have any idea how many number 1 overall recruits have won a finals ring since 2000?
Ooh, wow, that's really good. A lot of the guys don't even really turn out.
We did this with NFL. What we do? We ranked the college football, their college football careers of all the number 1 overall recruits. And you said if this was basketball, I'd be lights out on this. So I got it for you, man.
Okay.
Here's your chance to flex your muscles.
The first two that come to mind, Anthony Davis, was he number one recruit?
He was, 2011. Obviously won a ring with the Lakers.
Andrew Wiggins also comes to brain, but I don't know if he was quite number one.
He was, 2013, Kansas. Number one overall
more is
prospect. There is, not including Chet, who could join this list, 5. Chet could be the 6th.
Okay.
Number one overall high school prospects that have a ring in the NBA.
Since 2000?
Since 2000.
Okay, so LeBron. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Correct. 2 more.
After that, like Dwight Howard.
Correct. 2004, Dwight Howard ended up winning a ring with LeBron.
I haven't gotten any wrong yet.
With LeBron and AD in 2020. Took him a while. Somewhat of an asterisk on that because he didn't do it as like a...
He won a ring, you know. He was an impactful player on that team.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
In some of the series.
On,
he didn't play very much in half those bubble series, though.
I mean, he started with AD. Anyways. It's not any recent guys, right? Unless I'm really losing my marbles here.
Do you want the year?
Yeah.
2010.
Oh, Kyrie Irving.
No.
Ooh.
He was not
Kyrie.
He was a number one overall pick, but he was not a number one overall high school.
He wasn't the recruit. So who would have been in that class that won a ring? Is this a random one?
It's a little random. They won it as a role player.
Right. That's kind of what I would figure. Like a good role player?
Worse than Andrew Wiggins.
That's a good hint. Give me a position. That's all. Then
same
I'll
exact,
try to make a guess.
Quite literally exact same position as Andrew Wiggins.
So a wing.
But think like extreme, like exact same.
Oh man, this is hard. Logan saying asterisk because bubble chip doesn't count. Yeah, right.
I'm not taking that rage bait, Logan. Not at all.
Oh, I don't think do you know what pick in the draft he was? Maybe that would help me.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, then I think you might just have to give it to me.
I say exact same as Andrew Wiggins because he won a ring on the same team as Andrew Wiggins a couple years prior.
Harrison Barnes?
Correct. Harrison Barnes was a
number one recruit.
He was, 2010.
Yeah, went like 6th in the draft, I think. Shout out Harrison Barnes, man. Yeah, really good at UNC.
Made its way onto the Ben Bosscher show today. So if the Thunder go on to win a ring, they only have to win one of the next 2 games. Chet actually joins that list of Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Davis, Harrison Barnes, Dwight Howard, LeBron James as players to win a championship and also were the number one overall recruit. His situation's unique too because none of these guys, he'd be the first one to do it with the team that actually drafted them, right? Yeah. AD got moved.
But like he was...
But LeBron left and came back.
Yeah.
Because a lot, like... Wiggins wasn't washed by the time he won a ring. He was the second best player on the team, but like wasn't with the same team. Totally different role than what you would have thought it would be. He's not. I mean, he's the 3rd best player on the team, but clearly making an impact to the point where they're about to win a ring with him just a few years after they drafted him. So good for him. Should we leak to the world what was going on in our group chat yesterday during the NBA Finals game about TJ McConnell? So we were all freaking out about TJ McConnell.
McConnell, man.
That third quarter
that was for him.
I really thought he was going to pull the Pacers back into it. Tyrese Halliburton just couldn't take the baton in the 4th quarter. But McConnell in the 3rd quarter
had those 8 straight.
8 straight. I think he ended up with 15 points. Probably had 3 steals in there too.
And he yelled to Cason Wallace, "You can't guard me."
Just the man possessed. And I'm not going to lie, at the beginning of this finals, I was like, all right, man, any team with TJ McConnell getting real run, probably not winning a finals. It's kind of the same way.
Dude.
It's kind of the same way I thought about Goran Dragic the year that the Heat made the finals. It's like, if this guy's really playing, probably not winning a finals.
I think McConnell
killed that narrative.
Actually is
awesome.
my most realistic NBA comparison.
Okay.
Like I watch him play and I'm like, that's how I play, dude.
I haven't played with you enough to have a real take on that.
Yeah, we'll just get a real take on that.
But hey, I take player comparisons very seriously. I have a whole...
because I hate being that guy that's like, yeah, I'm Kyrie Irving.
That's ridiculous. I have a whole Google Doc or a whole Google Excel sheet of everyone I used to play with at lunch ball before this show happened.
No way.
Yeah. Before there could be people driving in right now to play lunch ball at the community center that don't even know this. I have an entire Excel sheet of everyone's overall and then a breakdown of their overall in each category, like shooting.
I
This
gotta start
person
doing this
gets
at my
this.
hoops runs.
And so I know exactly who first team all lunch ball is, who second team all lunch ball is. Oh my God. Like I know who's best overall at this. It's like shooting, facilitating. They've got a teammate grade in there, handles.
This is both the coolest thing you've ever told me and also like the weirdest thing you've ever told me.
But the reason I brought it up is
I respect
there's a player comp in there for everyone, and that's the most important part of it. So I'm telling you, I take the player comps very seriously. Do you want to guess who mine is?
What's yours? Oh, wait, let me guess.
I want to get to what our group chat was talking about in the middle of the game, but we're kind of running out of time here. You go ahead and guess. Yeah, sure.
Would you give yourself like a Kevin Durant? Is that how high you're going?
No, I wouldn't go that far, but someone that plays very similar to Kevin Durant. Just not as good. Like the Walmart version
Brandon
of it.
Ingram.
That's exactly it. Yeah, no, you nailed it. I always say I'm Brandon Ingram, but I'm trying to be Jason Tatum. We're trying to shift the narrative. All right, we'll get to the group chat thing eventually. Tigers, who would you light on fire? That's next.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Get ready, Michigan. Field of Frames Fest presented by Dow is taking over Dow Diamond September 26th through 28th. It's the ultimate celebration of gaming, esports, and community, bringing together fans, families, players, and industry pros for a 3-day festival like no other. Watch elite teams battle in high-stakes competition, the Valorant Collegiate Invitational and Rocket League Semi-Pro Showdown, each with $10,000 prize pools, a $5,000 Super Smash Bros. Open Tournament, and a 17U Fortnite Youth Tournament with $1,000 up for grabs. There's live music, entertainment, and activities for all ages, plus educational panels and hands-on workshops for those interested in tech, business, and gaming industries. Tickets start at just $25, and kids 10 and under get in free. Don't miss your chance to be part of a landmark event. Visit fieldofFramesFest.com to grab your tickets today. Field of Frames. Experience the element of gaming.
Some nights are just different. The energy and feeling of being part of something bigger. That's what a Great Lakes Loons group outing is all about.
Whether it's your company, your family, or your best friends, the perfect space is waiting for you at Dow Diamond.
Relax in a private group venue with catering and wait service, or take in the action from a spacious pavilion where an all-you-can-eat buffet and amazing views bring everyone together.
With group packages starting at just $15 per person, it's more than just a game. It's an affordable shared experience at night out.
The best memories start here with your hometown team. Just visit loons.com.
From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt. Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
My son Ricky took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Hour number 3, let's keep it rolling here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Having a good Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're in the Great Lakes Bay region or on YouTube. We appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, here's been the conversation today. If you had lighter fluid and a match, and you could give it to one Tiger and say, light up, get hot for the next 24 games. You've got now until July 15th, and you'll be one of the best players in baseball at your position. Who are you choosing to take on that responsibility and heat up from now until the All-Star break? Again, that's 24 days away. July 15th is the All-Star game. I chose Spencer Torkelson. That doesn't mean he's in the biggest slump, because we've talked about guys in a slump. Kerry Carpenter comes to mind. Casey Mize on the mound tonight comes to mind. But if we're going to give a guy lighter fluid and say, hey, become one of the hottest players in baseball here for the next 24 games, I think it has to be someone who's on the field every day. Spencer Torkelson, check. I think it has to be someone who at their best is mashing, check. And it has to be someone, this is kind of why I didn't elect to go with Kerry Carpenter. Even when Kerry Carpenter's at his best, he's not hitting against left-handed pitching very well. He has never sniffed a 700 OPS in a season versus left-handed pitching. He struggles, right? We all ask for it. We all ask him to get more at-bats against the left-handed pitchers because it's the only way to get better. But then he simply just doesn't produce against it. So for that reason, I didn't go with Kerry Carpenter. You could easily elect Riley Green here when he's, really feeling himself like he was in May. He's one of the best hitters in baseball. But if I can just get the sheer power from Spencer Torkelson like he had in August of 2023 when he hit 9 home runs, knock that down just a couple, really just one, because 30 games in August of 23 versus 24 games the rest of the year. It's one every 3 games at the end of the day. So if we can get Spencer Torkelson to hit 8 home runs from this point until the All-Star break, that would pace him for 40 on the season. That fixes a lot of other issues in your lineup. Not that the Tigers have a ton of issues right now, but if you are consistently getting someone who once a series is hitting a bomb, odds are you're winning most of those series, and odds are there's going to be other people on base because of how well the Tigers have hit so far this season, especially if Riley and Glaber and Parker Meadows is in front of those guys in the lineup. I think it's Spencer Torkelson for the guy I'm just giving the lighter fluid and say, here, man, light your bat on fire for the next month.
It's a good pick because, and this is one of those topics where it's like you really can't go wrong with who you pick. To me, my choice comes down to what boosts this entire offense, this entire lineup the most. Torkelson could be the answer to that. That's why I go with Parker Meadows, though, just because of we talked about how he's the 4.5 tool player or whatever, and how he's so good at every element of the game, just not great at one specific thing. Maybe he's great at defense. I would give him that. But offensively, he's just good at most things. If he's great at all of those things, or he gets this boost to continue to be good at all those things at the top of this lineup, it really sets up Glaber Torres in that 2 spot. It sets up Kerry Carpenter, who's been slumping, and Riley Green and Torkelson. When we did a month ago this Parker Meadows can unlock this lineup of the Tigers, this goes right back to that conversation. And that was a lot of people agreed with that because of what he brings to the game and how he impacted the lineup last year once he returned. So if we get that version of Parker Meadows, which I think is what we would get if we, gave him this boost over the next month, I think it is best case scenario for the Tigers offense.
And there's some pretty damning evidence that is the case with what was his record when he played last season.
Yeah, something ridiculous. Basically, that entire run was when he returned.
Right. So I don't think Parker Meadows is a wrong answer at all. Another one that I've thought of here in the past couple hours since we opened the show with this, what if it was Matt Vierling?
Ooh.
Come back, instant addition to the lineup of someone who's at their best can have a stretch of 850 OPS, 825 OPS, somewhere in that range, hitting a few bombs, hitting for good contacts, maybe
swiping some bags,
a 285 hitter, like just someone who, like, I guess rather than heating someone up who's already on the team, adding another plus on offense, adding another weapon. I wouldn't view Matt Vierling as a weapon. It's more so good at bats, consistent player, never going to give you like a terrible stretch where he gets ice cold, position versatility defensively. But if you just insert someone who, rather than is like an above average person in the lineup, you insert someone who's scorching hot into this already hot Detroit Tigers lineup, which maybe scorching hot's not the right way to put it because they've struggled here to hit home runs over the last month, which is another reason I said Spencer Torkelson. But is Matt Vierling being thrown into this crazy? I'm just trying to think outside the box.
Well, it makes sense because this is different than any other guy because you're boosting a guy that's already been a part of the lineup. Matt Vierling is not. So it brings in something totally that the Tigers haven't had. It's almost like what they've been getting from Wenzel Perez, right? They did not have that guy that could hit both sides of the plate, the only switch hitter on the team, and he's hit well from both sides of the plate since returning. So you add another guy that wasn't a part of the team that can come in and be hot right away. I'm interested to see, though, like, what does that mean for the lineup? Is that really a good thing? Obviously, it is a good thing. But who's he taking out of the lineup?
Javi.
I don't think Vierling's an everyday guy once he comes back.
Really?
I don't think so.
I did hear you remember that. I think he can consistently be the third baseman. And then McKinstry plays a little shortstop.
Where's Colt Keith playing? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If Vierling plays third, then one of Keith, Perez, or Carpenter, two of the three of those guys are out of the lineup every day.
It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, for sure.
If Colt Keith wasn't already paid by this organization, I don't think this is even really a problem.
No, Keith has been playing good.
No, I know. But not as good as Gleyber Torres and not as good as Zach McKinstry. And it feels like there's this like awkward, we have to fit Colt Keith in somehow. We're not going to bench him every day. And I don't want to bench him every day. He's a young player who needs at-bats. But there is some sort of like, we already paid him. We kind of have to use him a little bit, right? Whereas I kind of think Vierling's just a better player than him. And
I don't know about that.
Really?
I think Vierling is a fine player.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's anything you're pressed about him being gone. I think
I
the
agree
big
with
thing
that,
he
but
brings
Colt
is
Keith
the
hasn't been
versatility. And Zach McKinstry's just been the better versatile player this year.
Okay. Yes, but Matt Vierling has 3 games under his belt.
I'm saying, but McKinstry's been the better utility player this year than Vierling has been as a Tiger.
Yeah, but because Vierling... Okay, yes.
Like you're replacing your prime utility guy of Matt Vierling the last 2 years with Zach McKinstry.
Yes, but this is also the best we've ever seen of Zach McKinstry from the plate, whereas this is like a average Matt Vierling year, right? Like Matt Vierling's just consistently been a good at-bat. Kind of in a Gleyber way, not to that extreme.
McKinstry's having a better year than Vierling has had as a Tiger.
You really think so?
As a bat. I would say so, yes.
It's also a much smaller sample size than a
shortstop.
full season. Yeah, I know he can play shortstop.
Like he's just he's a better version of Matt Vierling, essentially.
So what are you saying? You think they trade Matt Vierling?
No, I'm just saying, like, if we did decide to light him up, does it cause more issues than solve issues, you know?
It causes good issues.
Right.
I think it just like it parks Colt Keith on the bench for a little bit. That's realistically what I think it does.
Which like I don't necessarily think that's a good thing.
Okay, then here's the alternative. Heat up Zach McKinstry.
Right, that would make more sense.
To where for the next 24 games he's basically a 400 average hitter or like a 375 average
every
hitter.
Game.
Yeah, sorry, Javi.
I mean, it sucks because he's not like this elite shortstop, but...
Well, they don't have an elite shortstop on their team, so no big deal. True. Javi's elite at some things, but none of the advanced numbers suggest he's still El
We also
Mago.
just haven't been seeing a lot of Trey Sweeney.
I'm okay with that.
Like, obviously, but just kind of interesting to look at.
Are you heartbroken that Trey Sweeney's not in the lineup every day? I'm not.
No, I'm just saying. Like, he went from a guy that was playing nearly every single day to... really not playing much.
It's funny that they added Parker Meadows, and that was the ripple effect. It's like, hey, we're adding a shortstop, or we're adding a center fielder. Sorry, shortstop. That means you are probably not playing every day anymore. Weird ripple effect there.
I will say, to my point, McKinstry better OPS this year than either Matt Vierling year last 2 seasons with the Tigers.
Way smaller sample size, though.
As of right now. I mean, we're 70 games in.
Yeah. And if he can do this
halfway through the season,
and if he can do it for a full season, okay. But I don't know. Some of this stuff is still like. I guess I wouldn't choose McKinstry to heat up because there's still not a ton of like power there.
I agree.
If you chose McKinstry,
I think choosing McKinstry to heat up is kind of a little bit of a waste because he still isn't an every single day guy.
Well, even if he was, it's like you're basically getting someone in the lineup who's hitting a single twice a game. Or I guess he hits a lot of
bad.
He hits a lot of triples and
2 singles every game.
No, that's not bad at all, but I'd rather have the one bomb every 3 games from Torkelson if we're giving a guy lighter fluid and saying, like, whoa, get hot. Get hot.
That's why I did the Matt Vierling thing, though, remember that, because it's kind of interesting. Where does he play? Paris has been too good. McKinstry is just a better utility guy right now. Colt Keith is going to start playing third. It's interesting.
The depth that this Tigers team has, there's not a lot of other teams in the league that can compare themselves to it. Because even these guys that aren't in the lineup every day, once Vierling gets healthy, like Perez and Vierling and Keith, it's like, God, there's a lot of teams that'd be lucky to have these guys. There's a lot of teams that'd be fighting to have these guys.
Year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and hopefully it allows some guys to get rested up, too, before the playoffs, because obviously Kerry's been dealing with this hamstring thing here for what feels like 6 months, 8 months since the playoffs. But it's been like kind of a looming thing for the last 2 weeks specifically. I wonder if, like, hey, can we just, once Vierling comes back and you get another body out in the outfield, can we just shut Carpenter down for 2 weeks or 10 days, put him on the IL and just let his hamstring heal up? Because the last thing you want is for him to fight through a hamstring thing here in June, and then something bad happens when he's rounding first base trying to turn a single into a double, you know? Because then we're dealing with something. I don't hate that idea,
but, like, why not just do it right now if you're going to do that?
That's a fair point. Yeah, you may. The last thing I want is for that guy's hamstring to fall apart.
Right,
that'd be pretty detrimental. Even though he's definitely been struggling, and it's hard to say that doesn't have some sort of reasoning behind it.
It definitely could.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. It could. I guess I have no idea if it actually does. Higher Standard Automotive. The name says it all. Honest, reliable auto repair done the right way the first time. Locally owned and operated. Wow. Serving Midland with expert service and small town integrity. From oil changes and brake jobs to diagnostics and major repairs, they handle it with precision and care. ASE certified techs, fair pricing, and commitment to doing things the right way, because your car deserves better than good enough. Drive with confidence. Choose Higher Standard Automotive. We'll be right back with the news.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Had a fun homestand last week at Dow Diamond, including 2 sellouts on Star Wars Night Saturday and Father's Day on Sunday. Wisconsin would take the 6-game set 4 games to 2, but Loon's bright spots throughout the week. Kendall George had a 4-ribby game on Saturday, and Jordan Thompson closed out Sunday with a nice performance, a ribby double, and a solo homer, his 6th of the year and 5th at home. Jesus Broca is 0-1. Thompson swings. Hard hit ball in the air to right. It's carrying, out! JT goes the other way and has another here at Dow Diamond. This upcoming week, Great Lakes stays home. A 6-game homestand that they begin on Tuesday at 7:05 against the Peoria Chiefs. A loaded weekend. We start with Hometown Heroes Night presented by Meyer on Tuesday. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:50. It is the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Kari Kiefer from Freeland High School. With a 3.97 GPA, Kari is a 3-sport athlete competing in cross country, track, and basketball. Kari is a leader on the floor and talked on what she thinks makes an effective leader.
I think to be a great leader, you have to be able to hold each other accountable, like being able to give constructive criticism, but also a positive with it. Anytime I kind of talk with my teammates, I try to give them a positive if I'm going to give them a negative too, just to kind of balance it out and keep that relationship strong.
Kari scored over 1,500 points in her 4 seasons at Freeland. She'll continue her basketball and academic career at Northwood University. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
Suit up, Sea Captain. At Dive and Glide in Midland, we've got all the gear you need to make a splash. Flippers that fit like a glove, masks that show you the underwater magic, and tanks ready to fuel your next adventure. Whether you're snorkeling the local lakes or dreaming of ocean depths, Dive and Glide has your back and your fins. Find us on Cambridge Street or swim over to diveandglideinc.com. Dive and Glide, making waves one splash at a time so you can dive deeper than ever before.
detours driving you bonkers? Ideal Party Store's got your back with a Detour discount. While the Lafayette Bridge is closed, enjoy 10% off select craft beer 6-packs and 10% off 4 bottles of select wine, 750 milliliters or more, with 2 great locations, 908 North Johnson on the east side and 401 Salzburg on the west side. Ideal Party Store makes every detour worth it. Serving Bay City since 1934, we're here to make you the life of the party.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, before we hit the news, can I finally explain what was going on in our basketball group chat last night during the TJ McConnell run? Because I've tried to mention it like 3 times here, and we keep getting sidetracked. So we were discussing in the group chat whether or not 3 of the 5 best white American players are playing in the NBA Finals. Because Caruso and Chet have firmly established themselves in the starting 5 of white guy American guys. And we were debating whether or not TJ McConnell needs to be in the starting 5. We ultimately went with no, but a good 6-man.
A really good 6-man, honestly.
I think
you have Tyler Hero for sure is in the mix, all-star this year. And then after that, it's like that's
Chet,
when you really
it's
can
Caruso.
debate some guys.
Well, Chet and Caruso and Tyler Hero are like undoubtedly on the list. We said Christian Braun was on there. There was one other player that was obvious, and
I would say Christian Braun is in that list. Walker Kessler is another guy that's in conversation.
I'm trying to remember who that other person was. Oh, and we got Cooper Flagg coming now.
Peyton Pritchard.
Oh, yeah, it was Peyton Pritchard, for sure.
Yeah, he's better than McConnell.
That's all I wanted to
But
say.
Cooper Flagg, man, really bolsters that lineup for sure.
Let's hit the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
All right, we're back into the news. Let's go over the stuff we didn't get a chance to touch on earlier. Tonight, Stanley Cup Finals, Game 6. Florida's up 3-2, 8 p.m. in Florida. Does it close out tonight, Ben?
Probably. Edmonton struggled to win in Florida the last 2 seasons, and it feels like there has been a gap here. It feels like the last 2 games there has been a gap put in place between Florida and Edmonton. I know Edmonton had the game-winning goal, but man, the defensive lines that Florida can throw out there, it's really screwing with McDavid, man. 1 goal through 5 games, not great. Not great. You just got all these big bodies on the defensive line. It's just been so tough for Edmonton to get the looks that they normally get with the McDavid lines. I think it probably gets closed out tonight.
Can we confirm that lock of the day will not be McDavid goal?
Yes.
Okay. Tonight, Tigers Pirates, Casey Mize versus Bailey Falter pitching matchup. 6:40 first pitch. 3-game set at Comerica Park.
The fact that we're not getting Skeens versus Skubal is a failure on behalf of both parties.
All right, let's get some fake odds here. Livy Dunn at Comerica Park this week. What are the odds?
I have no idea. Does she travel to the away games for Paul Skeens and the Pirates?
I think she goes to some of them. I guess
the nicer cities. She wouldn't go to like Kansas
what
City.
What does that mean?
She wouldn't go to like Kansas City, right? Wouldn't go to Cleveland. Wouldn't go to Cincy.
Right.
Yeah. Detroit's nice, man. I would say minus.
Oh, you think it's minus?
I don't know her travel schedule, man. I don't know. Even odds. Split the difference.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'll take the odds on the no there.
Wait, okay, I have better odds. If she happens to be in Comerica Park, odds do not count if she's not there. If she is there, odds of her doing the Bally Sports or the FanDuel Sports Network, and they get her on mid-game with Benetti.
Oh, definitely not.
You don't think so? Too famous?
No way.
Too famous.
Way too famous. FanDuel Sports Network for Livy Dunn?
I don't know. Benetti's got pull, man. Benetti could pull it off.
Yeah, they had J.K. Simmons on there the other day, but I mean, big Tigers fan. That's the big difference.
Who was the rock star that they had on a few weeks back?
Yeah,
who was like the big Tigers fan? And I was like, I've never heard of
Jack White?
Yeah, Jack White.
Yeah.
And I still.
He was in Colorado.
What band was he in?
We're aging ourselves here.
Yeah. What? It was like a band I definitely had heard. Was it Seven Nations Army?
Well, and Jack White was just a big, like, a lot of people were like, holy crap, Jack White's on the show? Like, that's a big deal.
You know, I was like, who is this? What band is he in? I don't know. You can go to the next one.
This is terrible. Okay. Tigers, more news. They're number 1 in the MLB Power Ranking for a 3rd consecutive week. Also, for the first time, we have a 4th American League team entering the top 10. So the National League isn't dominating just as much. Yankees 4, Astros 7, Tampa Bay Rays sneaking in at number 10.
Yeah, it was the White Stripes. They do sing Seven Nations Army. Sorry.
But you thought the band was Seven Nation Army.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's rough. All right, we had a no-hitter thrown in the College World Series last night. Not just a no-hitter, you know, because those are like, whatever. 19 strikeout no-hitter.
Be honest with me.
Gage Wood.
Do you like the College World Series? Like, is this something you watch?
I actually will watch it. Like, I haven't watched it yet, but if there's nothing else on, I for sure will tune in. I don't really enjoy watching college baseball in general that much, but the College World Series, I'll tune into that.
I'm not sure I've ever actually tuned in to watch a game.
Really?
I'm not sure I've ever watched a college baseball game that I wasn't
tune
working.
Into Florida LSU a couple years ago when it was like Wyatt Langford, Dylan Cruz, like all those studs at the top of the draft were all playing in the World Series?
No. I don't think so, man.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Michigan. They add a transfer quarterback. Interesting. Being it's June 17th. Jake Garcia from East Carolina. Previously played at Miami, Florida, and Missouri, and East Carolina. We did get a confirmation on his age, by the way. You said that this was some mystery.
Yeah, I was apparently
Ian in the chat
boomer.
just found it in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, apparently I'm a little bit of a boomer and don't know how to use the old Google machine. So, 23 years old. Thank you, Ian.
Bryce Underwood starting spot in doubt, maybe?
No, not at all. He's being paid $12 million. You better. It's not to sit on the bench.
Very true. So we discussed the Thunder winning Game 5, but we didn't really talk about the actual game. Jalen Williams, 40 ball last night.
He's knocking on the door for the best. And you can. It's so easy to do this after someone wins an NBA Finals. Like, you fall victim of it all the time. Best
second guy in the league, you're saying?
Best Robin in the league.
I mean, Jaylen Brown literally won the Finals MVP last year and is Robin.
But he's got a chance to be Batman this year.
We got Luka and LeBron.
I said knocking on the door. I didn't say he had taken the throne.
Yeah, you're right.
It's definitely one of those two guys.
All right, last up.
Shout out J-Dub.
We have a couple Shohei Ohtani news things. Let's do the first one. That is his ex-buddy, his ex-interpreter, started his 57-month stay in federal prison yesterday.
What's his name?
Obviously.
Pepe?
Ipe something. After stealing over $17 million from Ohtani and gambling it all.
Look, for anyone watching on YouTube, or for anyone listening in the car, I'm winking to the What'd you say he did?
Stole $17 million from Shohei Ohtani and gambled it.
Wink.
And the other Ohtani news is that yesterday, returned to the mound. Didn't really go according to plan. Only threw one inning, 28-pitch inning as well. Gave up a run. Might be washed.
Oh, relax. You hit 100 miles an hour, had 3 swing and miss pitches. Yeah, I mean, the Padres lineup's loaded too, man. It's not like he was playing some nobodies. And I liked the way that they presented it yesterday. He was like, Joe Davis and them were basically like, yeah, he basically insisted on getting some real-time reps. Like, he's still in the process of getting back to 100%, but he was like, there's no point in throwing against these minor league guys. Not that he was doing rehab starts, but they'd bring guys to wherever they
just
were.
Live at bats and stuff.
Yeah, he was like, there's no, like, this is useless. I'd like to go against real MLB players, please. And the Dodgers were like, yes, Shohei. Anything for you, Shohei. Because he kind of calls the shots. That's the way they make it seem like. He's the only one doing what he's doing.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. You don't see that in baseball very often, where the players like has more control over himself than the team does. But Shohei is definitely like, if there's a player empowerment era, Shohei would be the prime example of that. He's like, he'd be the LeBron.
I mean, they already are doing
Major
what he
League
wants.
Baseball.
They're getting all of his buddies from Japan to come play with him.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all hurt.
So regarding the first thing you said about Shohei, I actually had a few of those thoughts cross my mind last night as the game was going on. I've got one more thing on it, okay? But we got to take a break first. Here's everyone's hint. Michael Jordan playing baseball, JFK, Ohtani. It's next year. Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
At First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, floors don't just get coated, they get a makeover. Epoxy's so tough, it shrugs off spills, stains, and even your wildest dance moves. Garages, workshops, anywhere you want a floor that's smooth, shiny, and just a little bit sassy, they handle it all with style. No more boring floors. Get ready to impress everyone who walks through the door. Slide into durability and flair. First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, where your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't know they needed.
Experience world-class golf and family fun at the Dow Championship. Returning to Midland Country Club June 23rd to the 29th. Come and see top LPGA professionals compete in the only team-based event on the tour. Explore interactive fan experiences, family-friendly activities, and delicious local food vendors. Plus, veterans and children under 17 get in free. Don't miss out. Visit DowChampionship.com today for more information.
Since 2007, the Michigan Baseball Foundation has invested over $1.8 million into our communities, supporting over 350 projects across 14 Michigan counties. From restoring Alma Little League fields to creating nature-based classrooms at the Chippewa Nature Center and enhancing accessibility at the middle of the Mitt Miracle Field, MBF is making a real difference. Every ticket to a Great Lakes Loons game helps fund these initiatives. Join us in building a stronger, more vibrant community. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
Make every trip to Dow Diamond unforgettable with a Great Lakes Loons ticket package. Choose a 5-game or 10-game plan and enjoy priority seating, food and drink credits, and exclusive discounts on merchandise. Want even more? Go for a bronze, silver, or gold membership and get the VIP treatment. Bigger discounts, exclusive events, bonus food and drink credit, or free parking. Great games, great perks, and great memories with your hometown team. Starting with something as small as a 5-game plan at $62. Visit loons.com to secure your package today.
We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Loons. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think replay should be taken out of basketball entirely. I think 2 super conferences would fix college football. I think the best football, basketball, and baseball players of all time are currently playing. I think the day the Lions win the Super Bowl is going to be the greatest day of my life. I think Monty Williams sabotaged the Pistons on purpose, and you can't convince me otherwise. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, but most definitely cheated, got caught, and ran away. And I think you should tune into the Ben Bosscher Show, fueled by Forward Energy, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt if you agree with anything I just said.
Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
So Ohtani made his return yesterday, right? And I started to wonder to myself. Well, he made his return to the mound. I guess I should make that clear. And I started to remember like all that stuff that happened at the beginning of the season last year. All the gambling stuff and how what was the headline you just read for news that his interpreter just got sentenced 17 years in jail? Prison?
No, 57 months.
Oh, 57. I don't know.
So like
where
a
I
little
came
over
up with
4
that number.
years.
definition of falling on the sword. Definition
You
of
think
team
so?
player. Yes, dude. There's no way that Shohei's oblivious to what was going on. I don't know if I believe it. And I started to wonder, like, okay, the MLB swept that under the rug so quickly. Oh my God,
true.
so fast. They were like, nope. They used the Men in Black spray or whatever it is. They were like, no, everyone forget about this.
Yeah,
the Flash. Everyone forget about this. It never happened. And I started to wonder how many people like really did forget about it. And then I just started to think about other sports conspiracy theories. And I was wondering if you believed in many sports conspiracy theories. Because the one that I like firmly believe, and again, I'm aging myself here. I don't remember this era of NBA, but I love reading books. Like, if we're talking like, okay, what league do you know the most history about? It's not even close. It's the NBA. I love reading NBA books. I love watching old documentaries. I love just scrolling through old pro references. Like, I consider myself very educated on the history of the league, despite me not seeing the majority of it. And everything that I've ever read about Michael Jordan, he's the most intense competitor, psycho individual there was. Story about the ping pong table. Like, yeah, he lost one game of ping pong, had one sent up to his hotel room, got really good, and challenged his entire team. Couldn't stop playing cards on the planes. Like, intense gambler. You can't really convince me that Michael Jordan did not bet on himself from time to time. And I don't mean like went to the books and was like, I'm betting on the Bulls to win this game. But like side bets with, because this is the stuff everyone talks about. Like, he was just so competitive that I bet you I can't, like, you don't think, the golf course, you don't think we're betting on this? Stuff like that. You think he never once was like, you don't think I can score 35 tonight? Oh, you don't think I can hit this many threes tonight? You don't think I can shoot a free throw with my eyes closed tonight? I think he like just made so many side bets on himself and on the Bulls to win that eventually David Stern found out about it and was like, dude, we have a serious issue. And that's part of the reason, not the entire reason, that he stepped away for 2 years. I believe that. And I was wondering if you have any sports conspiracy theories that you believed. Because with Shohei back on the mound yesterday, I was like, man, they really did just sweep this under the rug. And for the, like, if I'm the Major League Baseball commissioner, I'm doing the exact same thing. You have to protect that guy. He's the face of the league. He's making your sport an international sport. It's growing at an intense level. You have to protect the league for that. So I would have done the same thing. It's just the Flash. Everybody forgets about it. But
you think Shohei's involved?
Yeah. I don't know if he's like the one gambling, but I don't know, man. I have a hard time thinking that this guy just didn't notice $17 million was taken out of his account.
That's pretty fair. Yeah.
I feel like I would notice that even if I
feel like
had that
gambling
contract.
is such a big penalty in all sports that if it was involved somehow, you're not just sweeping that under the rug. Now, at the same time, we had the Jonte Porter stuff happen in the NBA last year, which was a humongous deal. And it sparked the conversation like, what if that was Michael Porter Jr.? What if that was like a legit player in the league?
Right. Taking
Would they
unders.
have banned him for life?
Well, what was the stuff going on with Terry Rozier? That got kind of swept under the rug,
that
too.
That stuff's kind of just been swept under, too. That was all just investigation, and I don't think it's been closed yet, but it's for the same type of stuff. Rozier had a stretch of really bad games when he was with Charlotte, and people believed that it was involved with the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll say with the sports conspiracy thing, I am such a hater of conspiracy theories.
All of them. You're just out on conspiracy
I'm not out on all of them. But man, everything is a conspiracy theory to some of these people. Everything that ever happens in human history, there's some conspiracy about it.
You haven't heard
like,
that all the
things happen in life. In history, events occur. There isn't some hidden underground world that's behind all the secrets of, like,
you're telling
I
me
hate
that
all this
you're
stuff.
telling me the U.S. government isn't ran by lizards, shape-shifting lizards.
It's like every time something happens, like when that Brooklyn Bridge crash happened, it's like, oh, it was actually
slow it
done
down
by the
slow down the video.
It's some little, I don't know. I hate all this stuff. So I don't believe many sports conspiracies personally. especially real life conspiracies. I really hate those. But the NBA lottery was rigged in 1985.
Is that the only year it was rigged?
I don't even think that's a conspiracy. That is just something that happened.
You're talking about the Ewing year?
The first year of the lottery.
Yeah.
The Ewing year,
Yeah,
yes.
Ewing to the Knicks, 1,000%.
Easiest lottery ever to rig. First one ever done. They did it with paper that you could literally see he's hand picking them out. It was rigged.
Frozen envelope.
Frozen envelope.
Put your hand through it, whichever one's cold.
And there's
is
the theory
Patrick
that
Ewing.
the corner was bent and then they bent it back so you could kind of see the difference.
Mm-hmm. You don't think this past one was rigged?
Conspiracy, I believe. What'd you say?
You don't think this past one was rigged?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's too hard to rig nowadays. 40 years ago,
I, for the most part,
much different
agree.
Story.
Because random stuff does just happen. Why? All of the ones we came up with were NBA-related ones, which is ironic about it.
I think, too, the conspiracy that in the steroid gate in the 90s in Major League Baseball, that they kind of just, didn't pay attention to it, or, they knew and just let it slide.
Let it linger.
I think is that much of a conspiracy, though?
It kind of just seems truthful, right?
It kind of just seems like the truth. It added a spike to viewership in Major League Baseball with all the home runs and crazy stats. The juice ball era, I think that's a real thing. I don't know if that counts, but...
That can count.
What about the NFL stuff? The Spygate, Deflategate.
Is that really a conspiracy theory or just things that happened?
It is just things that happened, yeah. Well, but the conspiracy with Spygate is that the Patriots were cheating in much worse ways, and the NFL kind of just left it at what it was.
I would believe that. The Patriots kind of seem to be doing anything possible to try to take one step ahead. Oh, but when Jim Harbaugh does it, it's a much bigger deal, and the NCAA is
okay, right. My biggest conspiracy theory is... No, I'm done with this Connor Stallion stuff. Bryce Underwood shouldn't even be allowed to go to Michigan.
Okay, now
that dude Connor Stallions
relax.
helped get him there.
Relax. That's 1,000% true, but I don't know why he wouldn't be allowed to go to Michigan if that's the school he desired to go to.
But yeah, let's let the dude who just got caught cheating in a humongous NCAA scandal join the coaching staff during the playoffs of the #1 quarterback recruit that, he actually might be switching his recruitment. He might be going somewhere else now. Out of nowhere.
Okay, let's be honest, though. Connor Stallion's not the reason that Bryce Underwood ended up going to Michigan. You know what?
0% of the reason.
99.9% of the reasons have strictly to do with dollar signs.
Of course.
He's all but admitted that. Yeah, I set my family up for generational wealth. Here's $12 million for a kid who cannot legally drink. Crazy amount of money. Real quick, before we do our two traditions to close out the show, I absolutely need to know from our audience if you're, well, I guess we don't have a way for you to see it, but I posted a video yesterday on Twitter, and I said, sometimes you just got to let everyone know for no reason. And it was a clip of me playing basketball. And I looked at it again today. I was like, oh my God, I think I traveled. And I just wanted someone to tell me whether or not I traveled or not, because I'm pretty sure I did. And now
I think you did.
Now I'm embarrassed. I'm a little bit
Ben's
embarrassed.
Twitter.
Bosscher Ben on X. I'm slightly embarrassed that I posted a clip of me traveling.
It's a dunking video. Everyone travels when they do a dunk.
Yeah, but it would have been much better, obviously, if I did not travel. And now I'm like, do I need to take this down? You can't post a video of you traveling when you're
anyone who comments on your post and says you traveled, they can't dunk.
What if LeBron commented?
Okay, man.
989-837-6125. We'll do our two traditions to close out the show next here on the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandell.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau Agent, located downtown Midland. Well, all the bad Tigers injury news we've gotten over the last couple weeks, there is some positive injury news to look at. Matt Vierling and Reese Olson both starting rehab assignments in AAA this week. And it's got me thinking, Matt Vierling, who's been a main piece of this Tigers team the last 2 years, mainly as an outfielder, but last year exploring a good amount of time at third base, what is his role once he comes back to the major leagues if he stays healthy? Obviously, earlier this year, he was up for about a week and didn't really get a ton of run before re-aggravating his shoulder, and that's why he's had to go through this long process of getting back to the majors. But if he is back 100% healthy, it's a different Tigers team now than when he came back originally. Wenzel Perez has returned and has been honestly spectacular as a bat on both sides of the plate, playing right field. And since Matt Vierling got injured a second time, Colt Keith has now been suggested to move to third base more of the time. So is Matt Vierling, who has been a starter on this team for 2 years in a row, basically every day, suddenly become a platoon bench guy, a utility bat? Zach McKinstry is the utility guy of this team, but you want him in the lineup every day with the way he's been hitting. As excited I am for Matty V to come back, I'm not really sure how much we're going to be seeing him in action with this Tigers team at full health. Remember that, presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent located downtown Midland.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
Discover championship golf with amazing views at Apple Mountain in Freeland. Whether you're chasing birdies or just out for a relaxing round, Apple Mountain offers a stunning 18-hole experience for every skill level. Perfect greens, scenic fairways, and a course that plays as beautifully as it looks. Book your tee time now at applemountain.com. Apple Mountain. Golf elevated. Just minutes from Saginaw, but miles from the ordinary.
At the Great Lakes Loons, our commitment to community goes beyond the ballpark. Through the Volunteer program, Loon staff and even players roll up their sleeves to serve the Great Lakes Bay region. From packing food boxes to reading in classrooms and even cleaning up local camps and parks, it's hands-on work that helps build a stronger, more connected community. Volunteer isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Because being part of this region means showing up when it counts. The Great Lakes Loons, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 2007.
Calling all royalty. Join the Great Lakes Loons for Princess Night, presented by High Country Jumpers. Saturday, June 21st. The Loons will take the field in magical Moana-inspired jerseys. Stick around after the game for a dazzling fireworks loontacular, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. It's a night fit for the whole family. Tickets are selling fast. Visit loons.com before they're gone. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt for the most passionate fans in Michigan. Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.9 The Mitt.
Welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show. We have 2 traditions to close every show here on 100.9 The Mitt. The first of those would be our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, Kyle, give the people an update on where I stand on the lock of the day.
All right. So you're still up all time, but
Thank
just
God.
barely.
Thank
Today
God.
you risk going under for the first time since last Monday. You're up 0.68 units.
Mm-hmm.
On the week, you are down a unit because obviously yesterday Ohtani over 1.5 Ks, over 0.5 Ks would have also missed.
I'm still a little salty
Just throwing it
about
out there.
the way that the Manny Machado bat was umpired. He definitely went around. That was
Umpired,
1,000% a strikeout. Like, even the broadcast was like, that's one of the most egregious missed calls I've ever seen. He
Right,
1,000%.
yeah, the broadcast that's going to glaze everything Ohtani
Dude,
does no matter what.
it wasn't even close. He went like 70% of the way through Manny Machado, and then he pulled it back, and they were like, he did not go. Yes, he did. So that should have been one strikeout, and then who knows what happens after that if he doesn't end up walking him.
Okay, fair.
Ridiculous.
Either way, it didn't hit. Now that we're back focused on lock of the day. All-time record at 5-6. So you are below 500, but you're still up all time, which that's what matters the most. Trying to bounce back here today.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to the Tigers game. Okay. Bailey Falter on the mound for Pittsburgh. I wrestled with the idea of doing something Casey Mize because Pittsburgh's a top 10 team in terms of strikeouts, but Casey Mize hasn't really gone the distance very late, as of late. Getting pulled early, so I didn't want to mess with that. So I ended up looking at some of Bailey Falter's numbers. Left-handed pitcher, reverse splits. Left-handed batting, hitting almost 300 against him this season. Not at all for power, right? The lefties are struggling to hit any sort of power on Falter, but they hit for average. I can think of a left-handed batter on the Tigers that also has reverse splits, does a great job against left-handed pitching, better so than right-handed pitching, and also doesn't have a ton of power. Hits for average. Zach McKinstry. Now, that's when you start to, okay, here's the direction I want to go. I want to do something Zach McKinstry, but him to get a single hit, that's like minus 160. We're not doing that for a lock of the day. Is it 2 total bases, which would be either 2 hits or a double or triple takes care of it too? Is it you just do 2 hits? And then I came across Zach McKinstry to hit a single. Even odds. I think he finds the gap today. I think he gets to first base. And you double your money. Zach McKinstry to hit a single is my lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
What do we like? What do we think?
If he hits a single, or if he hits the gap, he's about to get a double out of that.
What if it's just a single?
You've had back-to-back days. I'm not saying I hate this pick, of just really risky picks for even odds. Like Ohtani over under 1.5 Ks, and we have no idea how long he's going to pitch. And then McKinstry to get a single. The same dude that got 2 triples. Like, he could have the best game of his career, and this doesn't hit.
You would have gone the 2 bases for worse odds?
I'm not saying that. I just probably would have pivoted and done something different. Just locking in a guy to only get a single is risky.
I'm willing to take that risk. Okay.
Okay.
Even odds.
You got to be risky, man.
Even odds. I
appreciate it.
I think if we game starts at 6:40, hey, by 7 o'clock, we're looking at a Zach McKinstry single, first inning single. I feel it. Okay. All right. So we're trying to get back up to positive on the week. Plus 102 as well. No, it's even odds. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it would quite literally get us back to even on the week. Okay. The other tradition we have to close out the show is predicting the one and only Colin Cowherd's Open. You scored a point yesterday, Kyle. Congratulations.
I scored a point. Man, what a start to the week. 2-2 on the scoreboard.
That's the all-time scoreboard, yes. 2-2 on the week. You predicted correctly that he would open with Caitlin Clark yesterday. And he did.
And I picked second, too. So now I put myself in a prime position to go back-to-back here.
Well, with that being said, the floor is yours, man.
What did you pick yesterday?
Baseball.
Finals?
I picked Devers. The Devers move.
Yeah.
I don't know at
Solid
what point
pick.
he got to that.
I don't either. So today, obviously, we had the finals last night. I'm going to go finals. But what finals direction do I go? I think it's just the fact that the Thunder have won the series. It's over. I think that's where I go. But he might go a Halliburton direction.
Wherever you don't go, that's the. I'm just piggybacking off
Right.
of you and taking the other one.
So I can't. Okay,
So
I will
choose
make it
wisely here.
Thunder-centric. Thunder-centric, it's over. Because the Thunder won Game 5. They're going to win it in Game 6. What a game from Jalen Williams. This Thunder team is winning the finals. That's how I'll go.
I think he's going to take a squat right over Tyrese Halliburton.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
He needs to step up. 0 points at halftime. He's got to step up. Not
you
good
might be
enough.
right.
Injured. Yeah, I think he just basically says Tyrese Halliburton's not a franchise player because he doesn't score a lot of buckets, which is idiotic, but that's why we love Colin.
I don't think he'd go there. That is idiotic. I don't think he's quite on that level, right?
I mean,
saying he's not a franchise player.
I don't know if he's going to quite go that far, but like I think he can make the argument like this isn't a guy you can rely on to give you 30. Like in a crisis situation where your back's on the back against the wall, game on the line, series on the line, you saw him score 6 points, and I think he kind of attacks and pokes at Halliburton in that way. Whereas a real ball knower would know Tyrese Halliburton's not out there to score 30 points, and if he scores 15 and has the 10 assists he normally gets, he can impact the game in ways that really very few players in the NBA can. But yeah, he probably does need to score a little bit more.
I would think so. But he also is playing injured. And that's why I was so frustrated watching this halftime report yesterday. Because Kendrick Perkins just comes on there and is like, I don't care that Tyrese Halliburton's hurt. If he's out there, he better not be faking it. Like,
he's got to step
dogging
up.
on him.
He's got to step up. Yeah, he probably does. I don't know. Colin usually comes at it from a creative way. I think he goes attacking the Pacers
We could both
mode.
be wrong.
We could both be wrong. I think one of us is going to be right, though. I'd be pretty surprised if he didn't open up with the NBA. There's no NFL minicamp storylines going on right now. There's no I mean, he could open up with
Would he lead with Ohtani? No.
If he... No, I don't think so. If he didn't lead with Devers, I don't think he can lead with Ohtani pitch 1 inning.
Ohtani's bigger news. He's always bigger news.
That's correct, but what is the news? He pitched 1 inning and got lit up? What's he going to go on and say to open up the radio show?
He's Colin, dude. Don't doubt him.
I'm not doubting him. I just think it's more tangible that he does something with the NBA Finals.
Okay, here's a real question, actually. What would it have to take in tonight's Stanley Cup game for him to lead with it tomorrow? Like, what would have to happen?
Connor McDavid scores 5 goals and
it
fights
wouldn't just be
everyone.
like the Panthers winning.
No, he would not. If the Panthers just closed it out tonight, no chance he's opening with that. There'd have to be either like a brawl that someone dies on the ice, like someone gets sliced open and dies, or Connor McDavid would have to be Connor McDavid for 3 periods and score like 3+ goals, hat trick in the finals. And I still don't think he would do it, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if he still would.
I don't know if there's anything that could happen. That's actually my answer. I don't think there's ever a we could do this for 3 years. Guess Colin's open. The score will be like 13-4 or 13-15. But I don't know if he'll ever lead with hockey. Ever.
It legit could be Connor McDavid has the greatest game we've ever seen. It's the best hockey game of all time. And he comes on 12 o'clock and is like, I don't know about J.J. McCarthy.
Did the Vikings want him? Did they not want him? Did they want Sam Darnold?
How confident are we in Sam Darnold in Seattle?
Caitlin Clark. That was a good call on the Caitlin Clark thing because no one talks about Caitlin Clark more than Colin Cowherd. He loves her.
He went on for a while about it too.
Rightfully so, man. She's polarizing. Everyone has an opinion on it. So, yeah, good call by you. I can't believe I went with Devers. That loser. Costing me.
I mean, it is a good idea. There was a lot to pick yesterday. You had U.S. Open stuff. You had could go finals with the game being like a preview.
I think one of us scores a point today.
I agree.
It feels like one of us is pretty destined to get a point.
Could I go
here.
back to back?
That'd be impressive. It'd be the
big.
first time someone goes back to back here with this tradition of guessing Colin Cowherd's Open. That's basically going to do it. So if you're listening on 100.9 The Minute, hope you play along with us and try to guess this Open. I'm feeling pretty good. It's going to be an NBA Finals-centric Open today for Mr. Cowherd. If you're live on YouTube, well, you don't get to experience the Colin Cowherd Show unless you look it up somewhere else and can watch it. But appreciate all the people who did tune into YouTube today. We're live on Facebook as well every day starting at about 9 a.m. Dude, I cannot wait for Loons Baseball to be back on this evening. We had the best record for a weekend. That didn't make any sense. We had the best attendance for a weekend since last year, August. This past weekend was Star Wars night, and then Father's Day on Sunday.
Day.
Sunday was Halloween night. So we've got a lot more fun stuff coming up this week. Lucky Hot Dog Princess Night this weekend. Should be a fun time. So with this weather, I hope you guys make it out to the ballpark. If you do, stop by, say hi. We'd love to chat, get some feedback on the show because, fan of the people. We want to know what the people think. Until then, we will catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everyone. That was the Ben Bosscher Show. Hope it was all worth it. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we see you at the Loons game this week. Peace.
The Ben Bosscher Show, powered by the Forward Corporation on 100.